Let's get it. 580 Sports Talk is live and direct on a Wednesday. Happy hump day to one and all. Thanks so much for being with us. We're hanging out for the next 3 hours here on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW, FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and in living color on our YouTube stream. 580 Sports Talk is the name of the channel. And on our Facebook page, WIBW News. However, whenever, wherever you are listening to the program today or watching the program today, thanks so much for being a part of the audience. We appreciate having you here for 580 Sports Talk. My name is Dan Lucero. Spencer Dupuis and Brendan Dorzinski will be along in a bit. Plenty to discuss on this Wednesday edition of the program. Got some Chiefs audio, got a great guest. It's going to be a good show today. So glad that you're here. Glad that you are along for the ride today. Hopefully the World Series game ended at a decent hour last night. Hopefully you're all feeling a little more well-rested. I sure am. I did not have to. I didn't have to stay up. Like, I wasn't required, but you know how I'm wired. Number one, I like baseball. Number two, if I start watching a game, I like to see who wins. So, yeah, Game 4 of the World Series, that was a long night. Game 3, rather. Game 4, regular old baseball game. We'll talk about it a little later in the show. But earlier to bed for me, and I'm sure for a lot of you. So I hope all of you are firing on all cylinders on this Wednesday afternoon. We're going to talk some Chiefs football today. Funny, isn't it, that we looked at the Chiefs schedule when the season began and thought, boy, there's not going to be a tougher stretch on that schedule than the first 6 games. The first 6 games for the Chiefs are going to be an absolute gauntlet. If the Chiefs get through that, smooth sailing. Well, the Chiefs got through that, and beyond that, they're playing good football, largely healthy, 5-3, and improving every week. And now they enter a stretch which might actually, you could credibly argue, and I don't know that I would agree, but you could credibly argue that over the next 3 games in the span of 4 weeks, because there's the bye following Sunday's game at Buffalo, the Chiefs will be playing against the 3 other best teams in the AFC. At Buffalo, then the bye, then at Denver, and then the Colts coming to town. So maybe this, and not the first 6 weeks, is the stretch that will ultimately define the 2025 Kansas City Chiefs. I tell you one thing that it is absolutely going to define when it comes to the 2025 postseason. We'll look ahead to the schedule. We'll start to dive in a bit to the Buffalo matchup. Buffalo's really good at one thing in particular that at times they have seemed reluctant to lean into doing. Last week they weren't, and they scored 40 points. They nuked Carolina from space. It was a massacre. Will they lean into it again against the Chiefs? And speaking of the Chiefs roster, the most predictable transaction in Chiefs history has come to fruition today. Mike Pennel is back. You asked for it. You got it. You being some of you listeners, we heard from you on the text line. We saw the YouTube post. There were a lot of you didn't understand why they cut Mike Pennel in the first place. Hand up. I was one of those people. I was stunning when they cut Pennel, when they cut the roster down to 53. A lot of you wanted him back. Chris Jones wanted him back. And Chris Jones today acted like somebody who just got their like pet dog back from the shelter. Like so excited to have his buddy Mike Pennel back in the building at One Arrowhead Drive, back to practice for the Chiefs. I told you Pennel practiced today for the Chiefs, and he did. He's back. So a real obvious move. It will explain why it is such an upgrade for the Chiefs, because one player in particular whose snaps he should be taking has really underperformed. We'll get into all of that. Plus, it's a Wednesday at One Arrowhead Drive on a Sunday game week, and you know what that means. Andy Reid behind the podium, Patrick Mahomes behind the podium. We've been bringing you that audio throughout the season. We're going to do it again today. We'll play Andy Reid's weekly press conference here at the bottom of this hour. We'll play the Patrick Mahomes weekly press conference in the 5 o'clock hour. We're going to talk some Big 12 today, too. We are 8 games. I didn't quite know how to phrase it. We're 8 games into the season for college football. Most teams only have 4 games remaining in their season. It's wild that we've got essentially a month of college football left. And that seemed to be a good time since we did this at around week 3 or 4 of this season to revisit it with 4 games remaining for every Big 12 team. Bringing back the tier list, the tier maker, we are going to tier the Big 12 teams and have some fun with that. And the whole gang will be here at 4 o'clock when we do that. Also, bottom of the 4 o'clock hour, our guest today, Tim Fitzgerald, GoPowerCat.com. Fitz joining us for the Wildcat Wrap-Up. We'll get his reaction to Saturday's Sunflower Showdown win for K-State, a look ahead to Texas Tech, and the Wildcats beat the Red Raiders, and some basketball thoughts from Fitz as well, as K-State has an exhibition game in the book last Friday at Mizzou. They've got another one coming up this Friday at Ramblage Coliseum when they take on MIAA opponent Newman. So we get some basketball commentary from Fitz as well. That's all coming up when Tim Fitzgerald joins us at the bottom of the 4 o'clock hour. Plus, our typical Wednesday shenanigans on the show. We'll play a round of One Gotta Go. We got some 580 Sports Talk headlines. Another round of What Is Wrong With You. This will be the championship for this week on What Is Wrong With You, because tomorrow and Friday are the last 2 of What Is Wrong With You for the month. And then our championship match on Friday will choose our 10th entrant into the year-end tournament of failed champions on What Is Wrong With You. And I want to hear from you. Get at us on the text line, 785-272-9429. That's the number, 785-272-9429. You can also hop in the live chat if you are watching on YouTube this afternoon. Again, the name of the channel is 580 Sports Talk. Like and subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. Just click the button or push the button, tap the screen on your phone or your tablet or whatever other device you might be using. I don't know what other devices there are. It's like you got the computer and you have computer with phone and you have tablet. And that's about it. I'm not aware of any other devices. But you can access YouTube on all of them. And if you can access YouTube, you can watch the show on 580 Sports Talk. And if you can find us on 580 Sports Talk on YouTube, you can subscribe. And it doesn't cost you anything. It makes the number go up. We are 43 subscribers shy of our next stretch goal, which is 900 subscribers. When we get there, we'll do 580 Sports Talk karaoke. So keep hitting that subscribe button out there. If you have not subscribed today, maybe it's your day to be a hero that moves us closer to all of us singing presumably poorly. Not me. I'm a great singer. But presumably everybody else will be singing very poorly for you on 580 Sports Talk karaoke. So we appreciate everybody who is checking us out on YouTube today. Mark and Andrew in the chat so far. Welcome, gentlemen. I look forward to hearing from you guys and more of you throughout the show. If you've never checked out the YouTube, we got the live chat running throughout the show. Great way to join a community around the show, interact with fellow listeners and your hosts throughout the program. So if you hop in there, say hello and let us know where you're watching from, you're enjoying the show, and mingle in the live chat. It's a lot of fun. So thank you for everybody who's in. I see Christopher in as well today. It's a Wednesday, so Christopher's in with the camel emojis. It's not really a Wednesday on the show until I see the camel emojis from Christopher. Now I feel like the show can begin. Thank you for that. Let's get into it. The Chiefs kind of caught a breather the last couple of weeks when you really think about it. You know, the first 6 games of this season were a tough spell for the Chiefs, and not just in terms of the caliber of opponent. They were a tough spell in part because of the Chiefs' own doing. They started 0-2 and had to dig their way out of that 0-2 start, but they played a bunch of really good football teams. Chargers are a solid team with a really good quarterback. They're playing well. The Eagles are the defending champions. The Ravens have been solid over the years, had Lamar Jackson healthy when they took the field against the Chiefs. I know the equation has changed a little bit for the Ravens, but those were still the Lamar Jackson Ravens that came to Arrowhead earlier this year. Even the games against opponents you would have considered lesser were still Sunday Night Football on the road against the Giants, Monday Night Football on the road against Jacksonville, primetime on the road, a team and a stadium that was going to be up for the occasion. And then week 6, of course, was Detroit, who I still think is the best team in the NFC. So it was a difficult first 6 games. And the Chiefs coming through at 3-3, with all 3 losses coming by 1 score, it was frustrating, but it wasn't terribly surprising given the caliber of opponent, the stakes of each game, and yes, some of mainly the absence of Rashee Rice in the offense. 3-3 was always within the realm of possibilities. Maybe it didn't look exactly like you thought it might. Maybe the losses weren't exactly the losses you would have predicted, but they came through at 3-3. And then the last 2 weeks, they played the Raiders, who are just in the gutter, and they played the Jayden Daniels-less Commanders, who really haven't been particularly good with Jayden Daniels for the better part of this season. So the last 2 weeks kind of represented a bit of a breather for the Chiefs, and the final scores reflected. I mean, they've outscored their opponents 59-7 over the last 8 quarters of football. But now it gets real serious because, like I said as I was opening the show, you could argue if you wanted that the 4 best teams in the AFC are, in some order, the Chiefs, the Colts, the Bills, and the Broncos. You could argue that. I don't know that I would go there with you. I'm still pretty skeptical about the Broncos, not skeptical about their defense, not skeptical of the beatdown they put on the Cowboys. That was out there for the world to see. I just don't think they're consistent enough on offense. I don't think they have high enough ceiling on offense to really be considered an elite team, to be considered a Super Bowl contender. They're good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting over here saying, hey, this team with a 6-2 record, they suck, actually. No, I'm not going to do that to you guys. I respect your intellects a little more than that. But a lot more than that, if we're being honest. But they're good. I don't put them in the Super Bowl contender category. I happen to think the Super Bowl contender category is still kind of what it was when the season began, with the subtraction of the Ravens because they just don't have the horses on defense with all the injuries that they've suffered. Even if they get Lamar back and they start to roll, I don't think there's enough there on defense for them to go win a Super Bowl. But they have the quarterback who's good enough to do it. The Bills are good enough to do it. The Chiefs are good enough to do it. Jury's still out on the Colts being good enough to do it. The fact that we're saying jury's still out on a team quarterback by Daniel Jones, that's a compliment. That's high praise, because we would have said absolutely no chance. I picked him to go to the playoffs, and I wouldn't have said, oh, yeah, that's a Super Bowl contender. It's not just that they're winning. They're crushing everybody they play. And you have to get credit for crushing the cupcakes, even if your schedule is mostly comprised of cupcakes. It's the same thing for New England. So you can make the argument that the Colts, the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Broncos are the 4 best teams in the AFC. DVOA, the statistical measurement of a team's prowess, popularized by Football Outsiders over the years. That's the name of the website, not like literal people who are outsiders to the game of football. The website Football Outsiders now lives on FTN Fantasy, the website you can go find DVOA and a larger explainer of it. DVOA thinks those are 4 of the 5 best AFC teams. The Colts are the number 1 team in football through 8 weeks, according to DVOA. The Chiefs are the 2nd highest ranked team in the AFC. They're 5th, 2 through 4 for what it's worth in this order: Seattle, Detroit, and the Rams. Denver is 8th in the league. Buffalo is 9th in the league. The Houston Texans are 7th. I didn't say DVOA was perfect. I think it happens to be the best catch-all team success metric that there is, that incorporates offense, defense, special teams, and strength of schedule. It's not perfect, but I think it's the best we've got. And so that's why I refer to it as often as I do. Houston being 7th in the league, like, I've watched that team play offense. They're not the seventh best team in the NFL. That's a testament to how freaking good their defense is. Really, really outstanding on defense. Too bad they haven't paired an offense with it. But anyway, so DVOA would say, yeah, these are four of the best five teams in the AFC. And that's who's on deck for the Chiefs in their next three games. I did the math on this, looking again at the DVOA rankings currently of every team the Chiefs have played so far. The average DVOA ranking of the Chiefs' pre-bye opponents, including the Bills before this week, a little over 14. Post-bye, it's a little over 15. You actually play, the Chiefs do more top 10 DVOA teams in the second half of the season because you got the Broncos twice, you have Houston, and you have the Colts, who are number one, but you also get two of the three worst teams in the NFL, the Raiders and the Titans. So the post-bye schedule, as we anticipated before the season began, still the leaner of the two halves of the schedule, but this is go time for the Chiefs. Because beyond the quality of the opponent that they're going to see from the Bills, the Broncos, and the Colts, and two of those three games being on the road as well, all three of these games feel like they're going to matter in the pursuit of number one seed in the AFC and the AFC West Championship. I was trying to think about this question. Which game of the three, if the Chiefs go 2-1 in this three-game stretch, that would be objectively good. But which one game would be better for the Chiefs to lose? If you had to pick the loss in that three-game stretch, which game would you pick? And to be completely honest with you, I had a hard time answering that question because I don't think there's a good answer to that question. Lose to the Bills, you lose the tiebreaker to the team that I still believe is likeliest, if it is not the Chiefs, to be the number one seed in the AFC. Lose to the Colts, well, now you're 2 games behind the Colts, potentially, depending on what the Colts do week 8, week 9. Lose to the Broncos, well, you can't have the 1 seed if you don't win the division, and a loss to the Broncos could put you as many as 3 games back at Denver with not having the tiebreaker, because the best you can do is split the regular season series with Denver at that point. So there's not an easy answer to that question. They all matter. And if you lose 2 in the stretch, that would be 5 losses for the Chiefs. And I don't think 5 losses is going to get you home field advantage in the playoffs. I don't think you're getting the bye at 12-5. Maybe if there's a logjam at the top of the AFC, but then you're talking about, okay, well, who do you have the tiebreaker with up top? If you lose to Buffalo, not them. If you lose to the Colts, not them. If you lose to Denver, not them. Even just 1 loss in this stretch means the Chiefs are probably out of mulligans for what would then be the final 6 games of their season. And I mean, there are a couple of layups in there, right? The Raiders, they're terrible. Tennessee's the worst team in the league. But there's also the short week Thanksgiving game at Dallas, which will be following what I expect to be pretty physical games at Denver and at home against Indianapolis. A game against Houston, who they will be physical on defense. The Christmas Day game, so another really short week against the Broncos. And even though the Raiders are dirt, that Week 18 game is still going to be one you might have to play and play the starters in, because if you're chasing seeding, you're not going to punt on Week 18, and that's a luxury that the Chiefs have had in past years that I just have trouble seeing them having again this year. So that's, if you want to call that the bad news, that would be the bad news. That the Chiefs don't have many mulligans left. They spent one off the first tee box with that loss to the Chargers in Brazil. Is that the most frustrating of the 3 losses, or is it the Jacksonville? I kind of feel like it might be that first loss, because that's the only game where you go back and say the Chiefs just didn't do anything as well as they needed to. There was nothing about that game that was particularly good. And there were extenuating circumstances for a lot of different reasons. But that was the game that I feel like if you played it again, you'd definitely get a different result. You play it again right now, like, I think the Chiefs will get their lick back when the Chargers come to Arrowhead. That's week, trying to think. That's after the Houston game, so 16, 15. Week 15. That would be the one I would want back if I were the Chiefs. I mean, even more so than the Jacksonville game, which if Mahomes doesn't throw the 99-yard pick six, they probably win that game anyway. Even more so than the Eagles game, which was frustrating. But the Eagles are, that's a good team. That's the best team that's beaten the Chiefs to this point. But that's the thing that makes this stretch so important for the Chiefs, where I'm not sure they can afford a slip or a stumble here. I'm not sure they can trick one of these off. They've got to keep winning because it has been so beneficial for this team as deep as they've gotten into the playoffs for all these years now. It has been very beneficial to get that bye, to not have to travel, to be able to have the Arrowhead Invitational for 6 of the last 7 seasons. And these 3 teams are good enough to beat them even if the Chiefs play well, I think. Now, like I said yesterday, I think the Chiefs at their best clear just about everybody. But these are 3 teams who their best against something less than the Chiefs' best is going to be good enough to win. And this is not a stretch where anything will be easy. It'll be really nice to have the bye, certainly in between Buffalo and Denver, in between going to Buffalo and then having to play at altitude. That'll be advantageous for sure. Andy Reid's record out of a bye is what it is. Record against the Broncos is what it is. You feel good about that game, I think. But it's a little ironic that all along we came into this season, we looked at the first 6 games and said, these are the 6 games that will define the Chiefs. And we were missing, and understandably so, because who'd have thought the Broncos were going to be a top 10 team in DVOA? Certainly nobody would have thought the Colts were going to be. It's these 3 games. This is the stretch. And the good thing for the Chiefs is that they come into this stretch maybe not entirely healthy, but as healthy as anybody can be at this stage of the season, and feeling like, not peaking, but feeling like they're playing as well as they can play. We'll take a quick timeout. What does Andy Reid think? We'll hear from him in just a little bit. But when we come back, regarding the Bills matchup, there's one thing they do exceptionally well. Well, they commit to doing it against the Chiefs. We'll talk about it next. We got Tim Fitzgerald coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. We'll hear from Patrick Mahomes later on in the show. We're jam-packed. We're just getting started. Thanks for being with us. 580 Sports Talk. 3:32 on 580 Sports Talk. We're just getting started on this hump day. Thanks for being here. Going to hear from Andy Reid in just a bit. He spoke at the dais at One Arrowhead Drive today. I think he went to the podium before the signing of Mike Pennel was made official by the Chiefs, but obviously Pennell's at practice, or at least at the portion of the practice media could see. So we'll see if Andy Reid had anything to say about the newest addition to the Chiefs, a familiar face, Mike Pennel back with the team. Malik Herring waived to make space on the 53-man roster. They're calling it the most predictable transaction in the history of the Chiefs franchise. By they, I mean me. I am saying that. I am calling it that. Chiefs play the Bills on Sunday in Orchard Park. It's really strange to say this about a team quarterbacked by Josh Allen, but I think the Bills' offense is at its best when it runs the ball effectively. And Exhibit A for that is their most recent game, Sunday against Carolina. They ran it for 245 yards and just poured it down Carolina's throats for 60 minutes. James Cook could have run for 300 yards if they'd let him try. Unstoppable. Cook leads the league right now, by the way, in yards per carry and rushing yards per game. He's at close to 107 rushing yards per game. I wondered if the numbers would back that up. I went and looked at EPA per play, expected points added per play. Generally speaking, teams have higher EPA per pass play because pass plays tend to have more explosive plays, more touchdowns through the air than on the ground. So you add more points, more expected points. That's EPA, expected points added. You add more points by throwing the ball. But as rushing attacks go, the Bills is second to only the Colts in expected points added per play. Their running game is really good. And when they get away from it, like they did against Atlanta 2 weeks ago before the bye, well, you saw what that looked like on prime time. You saw the Bills lose to a Falcons team that isn't particularly good. Josh Allen's amazing, but Khalil Shakir is his second best, is his best pass catcher, and his second best is Dalton Kincaid, and his third best is a null set. They just don't have a lot of really good weapons in the passing game, but they've got a solid offensive line and an elite running back in James Cook. Meanwhile, how good would you say the Chiefs' defense is? Ask yourself that question. How good do you think the Chiefs' rush defense is? Your gut is anything like mine. There's a million jokes to be made there. I'll let you make them. If your gut feeling about the Chiefs' rush defense is like mine, I feel pretty good about the Chiefs' ability to stop the run. But what they're really good at, the Chiefs, is stopping the explosive run. On a per-play basis, in terms of success rate and things like that, the Chiefs' defense ranks average to slightly below. They're 19th in the league in EPA per rushing play against. That's below average as a rush defense. They're fourth best in the league against the pass, for what that's worth. I found that number to be interesting. That was a lot lower than I thought they would have ranked against the run. I suppose it makes a certain amount of sense because teams are able to get those solid 4 or 5 yard carries on first down. So there's a lot of success on early downs running the ball. But again, the Chiefs do not have a defense that's going to let you rip off big chunk running plays. So I think that's a fascinating aspect of this matchup. What the Bills decide they want to do physically in the game. Do they want to impose their will with the run? Do they want to try and get James Cook going and hammer in between the tackles? Because there's a version of Sunday's game where they do that and chisel and chisel and chisel and then finally break a chunk run or two. And then Allen is even more effective off of play action, and Allen himself becomes even more effective as a runner. And the Bills' offense has a big day against the Chiefs' defense. But I feel pretty good, and I feel even better with Mike Pennel in the building. I'll tell you that right now. I feel much better with Mike Pennell in the building and getting some rotational defensive tackle snaps over, say, Derek Nottie, who, just ask yourself this question. Have you noticed Derek Nottie this year? Like, other than being aware that he's on the team, have you noticed him? Has he made a play? Has he done anything? Like, what's the Derek Nottie moment this year? If you're coming up empty, that's not for your faulty memory. That's because you should be coming up empty. He's not giving the Chiefs anything. Pennell, in theory, should be able to give him a little bit more. And maybe help those early down runs that teams have been able to take for 5, 6, 7 yards against the Chiefs and limit them to a little bit less first down success, 4 yards, 3 yards, 2 yards on some of those first down runs. I would be totally happy if the Bills decided we're going to win this game with James Cook, because I think the Chiefs match up decently well, even as good as I think Cook is. You know who else I think is really good? Jahmyr Gibbs, Saquon Barkley. I think those guys are pretty excellent, and neither of them did anything to really write home about against the Chiefs. Travis Etienne's having a really nice year. He was just okay against the Chiefs. If the Bills' best offense is them being great on the ground and the Chiefs at least make it so you're just okay on the ground, I think that will benefit the Chiefs. But being at home, I wonder if the Bills might try to establish that kind of physicality against Kansas City and try and prove some physical superiority, try to prove a point with the running game early on. It's really, really compelling element to me of Sunday's matchup. Text from the 785 says the image they have of Derek Nottie is getting blocked 5 to 7 yards down the field. Yeah, it's tough. That's tough. The Chiefs knew what they were doing when they let Nottie go the first time. Let's just say that. They had the right idea when they let him walk in free agency. They brought him back in a bit of duress, and the numbers tell you it has not worked out. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll hear from Andy Reid, his press conference from earlier today at 1 Arrowhead Drive. That's coming up at 580 Sports Talk. .341 on 580 Sports Talk. Chiefs head coach Andy Reid met with the media today. Short week, certainly, but back on the regular schedule with a game on Sunday. So Reid and Patrick Mahomes both met with the media today. We'll play Mahomes' press conference in the 5 o'clock hour today. But right now, let's hear what Big Red had to say as the Chiefs look forward to the challenge of playing the Bills. Spoiler alert, he does say that. He always says that. Here's all the rest of what Andy Reid had to say today.
All right. As far as the guys not practicing, Hollywood's sick, won't practice. Pacheco with his knee won't practice. And then Josh will be out. Other than that, everybody is going to go. Trey's going to give it a whirl. He did the walkthrough this morning, so we'll just see how he does. Look forward to the challenge of playing Buffalo again. As far as it's all right, Matt. Look forward to the challenge of playing Buffalo. We know they're a good football team. There's a lot of history between the two teams over the last few years. And it's been a good battle every time that we have an opportunity to play each other. So Sean does a great job with that crew, and he's got a solid, very good coaching staff and good players. So we've got to have a good week of preparation going forward here. With that time, Drew.
Hey, Andy, the trade deadline's coming up next week. Can you just discuss with us kind of how you handle this with Brett Beach and kind of how these conversations go over the next few days?
Yeah, Brett does all that. I mean, he and then if he gets to a point where something's up and he feels comfortable about it, then he hits me up on it. So, but he takes care of all that. Those guys are, I mean, you know how Brett's wired, so he's endlessly looking for people and trying to bring people on and make us better. So that's how he goes about it.
Do you envision that a particular injury long term or just for
Yeah, I don't think so. So we'll just see how he's moving around, you know. But he's a tough kid, so there was a point there where he wanted to go back in, and I wouldn't let him. So, but that's how he's wired. Right, have to cut his leg off to stop him. Yeah, but.
Coach, the interception Patrick threw kind of on the back shoulder. Is that part of him just being more aggressive? Is that kind of you don't want to, you never want to turn it over, obviously, but is that kind of part of him just trusting the receivers more and maybe trying to be more aggressive?
Yeah, I'd probably say the trusting part. He's got to trust that the guys will make that play. It didn't work out for Hollywood there or Pat, but that's something that we've seen in practice and done in practice. We've had a couple in games, back shoulder throws. So, but yeah, I tell you, I would put more on the trust in the guys than anything.
Andy, what concerns you most about Buffalo, just as a team in general?
Yeah, well, I mean, their offense is special, and obviously the quarterback is one of the best in the league at what he does, and he's got a great surrounding crew, starting up front and moving on back, and then defensively, their front is again they can bring it. They've got a solid front, and their linebackers, second. I mean, they're well coached. The scheme on both sides of the ball. Special teams, they're solid there too. Well coached. Chris does a nice job with that crew, and so they're just an all around good football team. There are not a whole lot of weaknesses there.
How better suited is Kareem for if it comes to a lead back role maybe this year than he was last year, just considering the circumstances?
Probably in better shape. I'd say just overall better shape. Not that he was in terrible shape before, but he's had a year to do it and get back in the swing after having a little bit of a layoff there.
If for any reason Isaiah couldn't go this weekend, you've had Elijah this season on the players that haven't had a chance to be active. What have you seen from Elijah, and what's kind of kept him in that role at least? Where he's been in the depth chart?
Yeah, so he first of all, he had a severe injury at one point. A lot of guys wouldn't even come back from this thing, and he battled back, and you could see him just get better every week during camp, and then progressing through to now. He takes a lot of the reps on with the scout team group. So I would tell you that, we all have confidence in his playability for sure. Yeah.
Andy, when you look at Sean McDermott's team on tape, what are some mentalities or characteristics when you see like that's a McDermott team right there?
Yeah, tough, well coached. He gets all phases involved. He's a very, very thorough. I had him when he was a pup. I joke I had him when he had hair. So, but he's a very, very detailed on how he goes about things.
Sam?
Andy, two of your big plays on Monday were plays that Patrick progressed through his reads. What did you just see his development through that this year?
He's always been pretty good with doing that. It's a matter of the time that he's had to be able to get through those things. I think you have to include some of that. But again, his ability to do it on the move is unique. You see a little bit of that from Josh too. And those guys, they both can do that. But Pat's he's got great vision. I know Troy Aikman mentioned him. He goes, he feels Troy was a quarterback, great quarterback. So he goes, man, his vision is unbelievable. And that's from a guy that's been there. He says he seems to see everything, and he's blessed with that part. Yeah.
How much is that progression earned by the offensive line, kind of proving it to Mahomes as the season goes along?
Yeah. So another.
How much is it earned almost by the offensive line to show Pat you're going to have the time?
Yeah, that's I'd say that's important for the offensive line to gain that trust. I've just kind of flipped that one over, and the O-line takes a lot of pride in that, and they want to be able to keep him in there as long as they possibly can. Now we've played, and I'd add this crew to the next. We've played this string of defensive lines that are really good players, and for Pat to have that trust is huge. Yeah.
Last two, Nate and Blair. Go Nate.
It appears that you guys have brought in Mike Pennell today in the hopes of bringing him back. If that indeed happens, just what can he bring to your defensive line at this point in the middle of the season?
Yeah, that's Veach is all over that stuff. I haven't seen Mike Pennell, so I don't. But he was a good kid when he was here, and a good player. So if he's back up, that's great. Another good player in there. He's got a good. You guys know him. I mean, he's got a good attitude and all that. So, but Brett, I've been cramming. We're on a short week, so all of that stuff is out there. I don't want to say I don't care, but I'm trying to take care of the other part of it.
Andy, obviously great success on fourth down this season, but your defense has also been very good on fourth down. What goes into that?
Yeah, the job that they did this past week was special, and that was very important in that game, the first half of the game. So anytime you can get off the field like that or have a turnover, I think is big for you.
Andy Reid from earlier today, he demurred on the commentary about Mike Pennell because the move wasn't official yet. He couldn't really comment on a personnel move that hadn't been, officially made, officially announced by the team, logged with the NFL, whatever. So he had to demur there a little bit at the end. But, it's glad to have Mike Pennell back in the building as everybody else is. You heard the injury tidbits. Trey Smith participated today in practice. I haven't seen the participation report yet. Imagine we'll see that here in a little while, probably not too long from now. I suspect it will say that Trey Smith was limited today, but that starts the path back for him to play. Nick Bolton was in practice. I know he dinged the knee against the Commanders, so it was good to see him out there. Isaiah Pacheco not out there. And you heard some comments in there about Elijah Mitchell getting a lot of reps with the scout team, and I would imagine he'll be active for the first time in his Chiefs career on Sunday because it is trending towards Isaiah Pacheco missing that game against the Bills. But if Mitchell's back and he can run behind Trey Smith. That would be a nice boost, certainly for that Chiefs offensive line. We'll take one last break. We'll come back, or one last break this hour. We still got 2 more hours after this one. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll wrap up this 3 o'clock hour, get you set for the rest of the show. You're listening to 580 Sports Talk. .354 on 580 Sports Talk. I think that's my favorite of our music beds. Rock the House by the Gorillaz. Are they the Gorillaz or just Gorillaz? I have to consult my AP style guide. I think it's my favorite of our return beds in the library. Of course, if you're watching the show on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, you can't hear them. You can only see me punctuate the horn blasts with a little pump of the fist. So that's, go listen to Rock the House by Gorillaz. You'll get the effect. We got 2 more hours, 580 Sports Talk today. Looking forward to tiering the Big 12 in our next hour of the show. Whole gang's going to be in. Spencer and Brendan are going to join me. We're going to tier the Big 12 football teams. Where does everybody stand heading into the final 4 weeks of the Big 12 season? And is there a chance for 2 playoff teams from the Big 12 in 2025? We'll discuss that. We'll do What Is Wrong With You. And we'll be joined by Tim Fitzgerald to GoPowerCat.com. We'll get Fitz's thoughts on everything going on with the Wildcats as they prepare to welcome in the Texas Tech Red Raiders to Bill Snyder Family Stadium on Saturday. I'd love to be there. I'm going to be in Lakeland, Florida this weekend. Washburn Ichabod men's basketball getting their season underway at the Small College Hall of Fame Classic. They play Saturday and Sunday. Saturday they play Augusta. Sunday they play Dallas Baptist. The preseason Division II men's basketball top 25 came out yesterday. Washburn, number 2 in the country. Their highest preseason ranking in 13 years. And Brett Ballard's team, fresh off a Final Four last season, going to hit the hardwood this weekend. Saturday's game will be a stream only. You can find the link at woosports.com. That's the Washburn Athletics website. Sunday afternoon, you'll be able to hear the game on your home for the Ichabods, Country 106.9. Of course, Brendan will be carrying Washburn football Saturday on Country 106.9. Ichabod football taking on Missouri Western in St. Joe this coming Saturday. So that's what we have to look forward to this weekend. We got some K-State hoops and high school football Friday night. We've got Washburn football and K-State football on Saturday. Obviously got the Chiefs on Sunday, some Washburn basketball as well on the Connoisseur Media Topeka family of stations. So I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to getting out to Lakeland. Maybe I'll see the sun. Maybe I'll see the sun lately. Where'd the sun go? I caught a little glimpse of it towards sunset last night. It peeked out for a little bit. But, man, it went to full, like, seasonal affective disorder level fall the last week or so. No sun, rain. It was cold this morning. I like the fall. I like to break out my quarter zips and hoodies and all that, but yeah, we sped run. We didn't get the nice, like, oh, it's sunny and the leaves are changing colors. Now we sped run right into like depressing fall in a hurry. So anyway, we got some more sports to talk. We're tearing the Big 12 to start next hour, 580 Sports Talk. Let's get it. Hour number 2 of 580 Sports Talk on this Wednesday afternoon. Thanks so much for being with us on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW, FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and in living color on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, and our Facebook page, WIBW News. My name is Dan Lucero. Spencer Dupuis is here. Brendan Dorzinski will be here, we think.
He's somewhere in the building.
I know he's in the building. He'll be here.
If you're busy taking care of sales,
he's got some stuff he's doing. I know. He'll come in and he'll join us here in just a little while. We're glad you're joining us wherever you may be on this Wednesday edition of 580 Sports Talk. Want to hear from you. Text line is open. 785-272-9429 is the number. You can also join us on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, where there is a live chat running throughout the live broadcast of the show. If you're signed in, you can participate in the chat. Say hello. You can type whatever you want in there within reason. Like if you're mean or profane or gross, we're going to take it down. But, within reason and within the boundaries of kindness and friendship, jump into the live chat and join the 580 Sports Talk community. Interact with your fellow listeners and your hosts throughout the program. Again, the name of the YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk. Like and subscribe. I guess just subscribe. Is there a like? And like us on Facebook.
You can
subscribe
like the
to us.
video.
Yeah, you can like the video. Yeah, that's always nice. Like the video and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I never promoted it in that fashion, so I guess I didn't. I never really thought about like and subscribe. You like the Facebook page, but
you sound like for a split second there. You sounded like one of those like I'm a YouTuber doing a vlog.
Yes.
All right, well, subscribe the video.
Listen, this is all I can tell you. I hit people with the like and subscribe at the top of our Sunflower Showdown reaction video we did from David Booth, Kansas Memorial Stadium on Saturday, and 17 people subscribed to the YouTube channel on the strength of that. So I'm going to keep plucking that particular chicken.
Hey, we're 41 away from karaoke.
That means we've gone up 2 today. So it's working. Me saying like and subscribe works. The phraseology is working. So go subscribe to the YouTube channel.
It's either that or you're feeding into the bot algorithm that is just giving us random subscribers that we have no clue about.
Hey, listen, I just want to see the number go up. I'm not going to buy them. I'm not going to pay for them. But if the number goes up, the number goes up. That's what we're here to see. We're here to see the number go up.
There's sometimes when it goes down.
Yeah, I never like it when it goes down.
No, but it happens.
Yeah, bots get zapped, right? But that's very rare. That's extremely rare. That's only happened like once or twice where I've seen the number actually go down.
Hey, shout out to our Spotify followers. We've gained 2 in the last week.
Oh, love that. Yeah, catch the show on Spotify. If you ever miss this live, there's ways that you can get caught up. Obviously, we have the full video archive on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk. But you can also listen to the podcast version of the show. You can catch it on our website, 580WIBW.com, and on Spotify by searching for 580 Sports Talk. And that is where you can, I think the terminology over there is follow the show. Follow
and rate.
Rate and review the show. Give us 5 stars as one of my favorite podcasts, The Right Time with Bomani Jones, former ESPN personality. I listen to his podcast 3 times a week. I listen every week. I really like his show. I like his insights. And he always says in his show, give us a 5-star review. If you give us 4 stars, I'm inclined to believe you are a hater. And we don't want any haters in the house. So 5-star reviews over there at Spotify, 580 Sports Talk.
I'm looking at the analytics here for this month. Darn good a month of October.
Hey, love to hear it.
On the Spotify.
Love to hear it. So, thanks for checking us out. However you check us out, whenever you check us out, we appreciate you doing so. We appreciate you being part of the audience here on 580 Sports Talk. We'll stop patting ourselves on the back. We'll get into this 4 o'clock hour. Coming up in about 30 minutes or so, Tim Fitzgerald, GoPowerCat.com, is going to join us for our weekly check-in in Manhattan. It's the Wildcat Wrap-Up. We'll talk to Fitz about K-State's win in the Sunflower Showdown. Then look ahead to their game against Texas Tech. And, of course, we'll get some basketball perspective as well. K-State opening exhibition play with a loss to Mizzou Friday night in Columbia. This coming Friday night, they're at Bramlage for the first time this season. They will play Newman, who was picked to finish 11th in the MIAA. You got to watch out for those MIAA teams, though. You don't want to lose to Hayes. Ask Bruce Weber what it's like to lose to Hayes.
Speaking of Hayes
lost to KU last night.
Yes, they lost to KU, but people were freaking out on KU Twitter. And I don't get it. Your best player was in street clothes last night, trying to preserve him for the regular season. It's an exhibition game. You only gave up 35 points. Yeah, you didn't score more than 71?
Uh-huh.
People were freaking out that they only scored 71.
People freak out on social media because that's what you do on social media. You don't get likes or retweets if it's reasonable and level-headed. You only get likes and retweets if it's funny or it's mean or it's a crash out. That's the only time you get that level of interaction over there. So yeah, that's why you saw what you saw. I thought Bill Self would be happier about holding the team to 35, no matter who that team is, than he will be upset about only scoring 71 without your point guard. So we get into that a little bit more in headlines. Still got that to come. We're going to hear from Patrick Mahomes. We'll talk more about the re-signing today of Mike Pennell. Chiefs making it official. They're calling it the most predictable transaction in Chiefs history, and we'll get more into that later on. Brendan Dworzinski has entered the studio and the chat. What's up, man?
What's up? My apologies. The fine folks monitoring my calls from AT&T will vouch for me. I had a few things to take care of, but we're here and ready to go.
You don't need to be vouched for.
He's making money. That's what it is.
Anytime you show up, you're on time, partner.
Well, that's never been true my entire life, but I do appreciate that.
You are. You're just in time. We're going to tier the Big 12 teams. This is something we enjoy doing, the season-long check-ins on the Big 12 football conference. And we like to tier the teams, sort them into tiers, comically named tiers. We think they're funny anyhow. If you're watching the show on YouTube, we're going to put them up on the screen. So that'd be a good time if you have the capability to do so and you want visual accompaniment for this segment. We'll walk you through it for those who we know where our bread is buttered. Our primary audience is it's an audio medium. So we'll walk you through them. But if you'd like the visual accompaniment, check us out on YouTube, 580 Sports Talk, or on Facebook at WIBW News. Let's get into it. I'll start with my tiers of the Big 12 Conference. Through now, everybody's played 8, I believe, and everybody's got 4 to go, all conference games the rest of the way. My tier now appearing on the screen on the YouTube channel. Oh, no, that's that Brendan's? That was Brendan's. Brandon, why don't you go first? Yours is up on the screen. Why don't you go first?
All right. Well, without further ado, I will jump right in. All right. So my number one tier, it's the Chiefs tier. Chiefs asterisk. Okay. I'd like to make that very clear. Chiefs asterisk. There is one team in that tier. It is the Texas Tech Red Raiders. I do not believe that this version of Texas Tech is the college football equivalent of a team as good as the dynastic Kansas City Chiefs. And yes, the fact that that's Patrick Mahomes' alma mater also not lost on me. The reason I have them there is because they are not in first place right now. And not even in position right now to go to the conference championship game, but they feel inevitable to me. Right now, this Texas Tech team feels like it is, just in terms of team quality, team talent overall, this feels like the best team in the conference. And I know they are not in position right now, just like we went into last week. Oh, if the playoffs started today, the Chiefs wouldn't even be in the playoffs. Right now, the Kansas City Chiefs are the best team in the NFL. And right now, I still believe Texas Tech is the best team in this conference. So that is why they are in the Chiefs asterisk tier. Not because they are as good as a team that just, has been to 3 straight Super Bowls, but because they feel like they are inevitable at this point, which brings us directly into tier number 2. This is the flawed contenders tier. All contenders for the conference title, still running out of time for a couple of them who have 2 losses, but still contending. They are all flawed. Houston is in this tier. I like Houston. I love Willie Fritz. Connor Wigman, what he's been able to do with that team, awesome. A team that needed to replace their entire secondary, like to every single player in the position room. They have been remarkable this year. I think that is among the least talented teams in the top half of the Big 12, I think, all things considered. I think they're especially well coached. I think they've gotten really good high-caliber play this year, but they're kind of the opposite of Texas Tech in this regard, that they are right there in the mix, despite the fact that I think they've got just too many personnel deficiencies. Arizona State is in a similar boat. I actually give Arizona State a lot of credit. I thought going into this year they were going to take a substantial step back. And you remember I had plenty of questions about Sam Leavitt. How good is he? And he's very good. He's also very hurt and very injured. And that is scary to me.
And Jordan Tyson's ding too, which is a huge deal. He's their best offensive player.
I was going to say, Sam Leavitt's really good. Jordan Tyson, for what his job is even better at it. So the injuries concern me. I don't think they are quite as good just across the board as they were a year ago. That's where I'm worried. I think Cincinnati has outplayed almost every expectation from around the conference. I think they are still poorly coached. I give credit to Scott Satterfield. I didn't think he would ever get a team in a position where it could make a conference championship game. I do have questions about him, though. I like Brendan Sorsby. I've got some questions about the other talent on that side of the ball in particular. So good, really good, contender, flawed. And then there's BYU, who is still undefeated. I like this team. I like watching them. I love Kalani Sitake. I really enjoy watching Bear Bachmeier. If you get to this point and absolutely nobody trusts you, there's got to be at least a little bit of a red flag, right? Like, you don't trust BYU.
I don't.
I want to, but
I do.
There's
I
just
trust BYU.
Okay. See, flaw.
We'll get to that.
Not unanimous.
We'll get to that here in a minute.
I am actually curious where you're going with that. I think they are good. I think they are very good. I do think they have, again, other limitations, and I think true freshman quarterback, you get into some massive games like they have down the stretch, got some worries. And if they get through it, they're still undefeated. That means they knocked off Tech. I believe that means they also would have knocked off Cincinnati on the road. Then, yes, that should be a top 4 seed in the college football playoff. That's how good they should be. I'm just not sure they're quite that. We move on to the middle groups. This is the should be better, but could be worse tier. K-State's in this tier.
Yeah.
K-State has bounced back from a horrible vibes start to the season. Playing really well. Just won their biggest rivalry game and lost their other rivalry game at the start of the year, part of those bad vibes. They should be contending for a conference championship. Technically they are. I think they still
3-2.
could.
Anybody with 2 losses is still technically alive. Yeah.
I put them below those other 5 teams that we have already mentioned, but could be worse.
Yeah.
They could have continued all those. They could have lost last week.
Mm-hmm.
They could have been on the wrong side of a 42-17 rivalry game. So should be better. Could be worse. Utah, same thing. I like Utah. I like a lot about Utah. Devin Dampier, Big 12 caliber athlete. Not sure he's a Big 12 caliber quarterback. He's been banged up as well. They've had injury problems. That's a team that has hit incredible highs under Kyle Whittingham. I'm not sure what the peak for them is anymore. I think this year's an example of that. I don't really know what the hell TCU is. Like, I don't. I've come around on Josh Hoover this year. I'm not really sure what Sonny Dykes is at this point. I've got a lot of questions about what they are. Again, like, they're fine. I think the talent they've got, they should be a better team. I think they also, if Hoover did not take a step forward this year like I believe he did, well, it'd be kind of dire at this point. And Iowa State's in this group as well. They are 2-3 in conference play right now. They should be better than that, but at the same time, like, they lost a ton from last season. I'm not surprised that they're worse than that, but you also look at everything we all say about Iowa State and all the things they do have going for them, and, like, you should be better than middle of the pack.
They've got the opposite of K-State trajectory, like almost in exactly opposite.
Yep. Oh, yeah. No, I agree with you 100%. We move from that to the tier I title. It's the biggest tier. The fine line between interesting and relevant. I think all 5 teams in this tier are some level of interesting. I think none of them are actually relevant.
That's kinder than I'm going to be to some of these teams.
KU. I think KU's interesting. KU bowl game on the line. And if KU, I think they will win 2 of their final 4 games.
I kind of do too. I think they'll get to 6.
If they don't, the savior of the program is going to have his ass in the jackpot. Like, that's where we are with them. And I don't want that. And I think it's crazy to think he's on the hot seat now, but, like, hey, 2 years in a row without a bowl game with everything we're pumping into this program. What are we doing here? 6th-year quarterback, started all that time. Like, what are we doing here? They have no bearing on the Big 12 championship race the rest of the way. So
that's true.
They're out of that. Arizona, like, whoa, you're kind of better than we thought. That's about as interesting as they get. Like, okay, cool. That's it. Colorado, they're interesting because of the profile, and they've got quarterback drama is always interesting, right? And they got the coach, and no one, like, they're not impacting the race in the Big 12 whatsoever. Baylor has an elite quarterback. I still think Sawyer Robertson is as good as they come in college football.
I agree.
Is their coach going to get fired? If they fire Dave Aranda, what's next? Like, how good is Baylor as a program? That's interesting. Doesn't mean anything for like the greater landscape of the Big 12 this year. And then there's UCF, who I didn't really want to make their own tier. They're not really interesting either. They're like kind of hanging around. It's not year 0 for Scott Frost, but it's like year 0.5 kind of. Yeah, they got a long way to go.
They named, I don't even remember his name at this point now.
Fancher,
their starting quarterback to start the year, man. Like, if that was your starting quarterback, that's who you were trotting out there, you were setting yourself up for failure.
Here's the thing. I think we could go pick up a bag boy at Dillon's and probably have him be the backup quarterback with no experience. Like, that room was horrific.
Yeah.
So, I mean, whose fault is that? Well, probably Gus Malzahn. All right, last 2 tiers. Each has just one team in it. Next one is they better hope they beat Colorado. That's West Virginia. Because if they don't, they will go winless. I'm not as down on them as Oklahoma State because I think Rich Rod was kind of in year 0. Like, they really had to rebuild that program. And that brings us to the final tier, deader than disco, the Oklahoma State Cowboys. I'm really not sure what the future for that program is going to look like. I would be very worried if I had that program near and dear to my heart.
This is becoming a very bad year for a program of Oklahoma State stature to be trying to hire a new coach.
It could not possibly be worse, actually. Like, if it's not Zach Robinson, if he does not leave the Falcons OC post to be their head coach, what are they going to do?
Great question. Great question.
One, I'm glad I don't
The
know the
rumor
answer.
mill says Colin Klein.
I think he's going G6.
I think Colin Klein could get a better job with all that's open.
I think if he gets a head coaching job, his first head coaching job is not going to be in the Big 12. I would watch Colorado State.
Would make sense.
I would watch Colorado State on that. My Big 12 tiers, going to look a little bit different. They are up now on the screen on our YouTube channel. We have the Arlington or bust tier. I have 2 teams up there for whom anything less than a trip to the Big 12 championship game is going to feel like a failure. That is Texas Tech, because I think they're the most talented team in the conference, and they certainly spent the most money. You better play for a conference championship when those things are true. And as long as they can keep Baron Morton on the field, I think it's pretty smooth sailing towards a berth in the Big 12 championship game. BYU is in this tier for me, even though, like I said, I don't trust them wholeheartedly. This is 2 years in a row they've gotten off to a start like this. And last year they couldn't cash it in. Kind of got to cash one of these in.
That's a program that believes it should be fighting for championships.
Yes. You've got to cash this in. And they've got concerns. They got injuries on both sides of the ball. LJ Martin, they're being real mum about that injury, which is usually not a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the time may come where even the Bear Bachmeier offense is not quite enough. But for me, it's 2 years in a row starting like this. Last year, they slipped down the stretch. They lost at home to Kansas, and they didn't make it to the conference championship game. This year, they got to get there. That's the kind of program, like you said, they think they are. Second tier is the what are you guys doing up here tier? Houston and Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Houston's unbeaten in the league. They're a first place team in the league right now. It's them and it's BYU right now. That would be the no, check that. Cincinnati's who's unbeaten in the league.
Yeah.
Houston's got 1 league loss. So Cincinnati and BYU would be the conference championship game if the season ended today. Nobody thought this was coming from either of these programs. They're playing with house money at this point. Houston's schedule has not been particularly good. Cincinnati has had, obviously, they're 5-0. They've taken care of business. I am skeptical that it will be either one of those teams going to Arlington, but at the same time, they're in position. All they've got to do is keep putting one foot in front of the other, and they could be a surprise entrant into the Big 12 championship game and a surprise playoff team. And that would be, an unbelievable achievement for Willie Fritz at Houston. They were 4-8 each the last 2 years. Thought it would take time, but here they are at 7-1.
He's such a good coach.
He is. My third tier, it's the wet leather tier because they're tougher than wet leather. Utah, Arizona State, Kansas State. These are 3 teams you do not want to play right now. Now, that's not to say they're flawless. Certainly, Arizona State has injury woes and is coming off of a home loss to Houston. And Utah's got the injury concerns to Devin Dampier. K-State's got the injury concerns, Dylan Edwards, Toby Osensomni. Not flawless teams, but right now, playing the kind of football, they have the kind of attitude, they have the kind of leadership. If you see them on your schedule, the final 4 games, they can ruin your day. Those teams are tough. And for K-State to be in this tier after where they started, huge credit, again, to their coaching and their leadership. So those are my wet leather teams. They're not going to play for a conference championship in all likelihood, but they're tough. They're going to give everybody hell the final 4 games of their schedule.
While we have a quick moment while K-State comes up, can we answer John's question from YouTube?
Sure.
Do you think K-State keeps it going the rest of the way? The injuries, as you mentioned, are a factor here.
I think they can absolutely go 3-1 in their final 4 games. So yes, I do think they can keep it going. I'm going to be tough this Saturday, but I wouldn't rule it out given their form and given the fact that it's a home game. I won't rule it out.
I say they go no worse than 2-2.
Yeah, bowl eligibility is the floor, I think, for K-State. I think that to the extent that it stinks not having Dylan Edwards, it stinks not having Toby Osunsami. They just put it on KU by 25 on the road without those guys. So I don't think they're at the point. I don't think their injuries have proven to be the kind of concern that like Arizona State's injuries have been to this point. My middle tier is the mid tier. These teams are mid. Mid is not bad. People think in the parlance of the times that mid is bad. Mid is not bad. Mid is just mid.
I got in an argument with our buddy Trenton Craxner about this just the other day.
Mid is not bad. Mid is not an F. Mid is like a C+. Mid gets the job done. Anybody knows anything about that mid?
C's get degrees.
It gets the job done. TCU, Iowa State, Baylor, Kansas, Arizona. All those teams to me are mid. On their day, they can win some games. They can beat good teams on their day. When it's not their day, they can look really bad. They can get run off the field by teams like Baylor did to Cincinnati, like Kansas did to Kansas State. Iowa State being in this tier is a huge disappointment. It's injury related as much as anything else, but that is, I think now that Kansas State is on the trajectory they're on, we could be talking about Iowa State as the most disappointing team in the conference this year. Then I have the black, gold, and bad tier. Colorado and UCF. They both have primary colors, black and gold, and they're both bad. And I don't wish to discuss them any further than that.
Fair enough.
Then there's 50 feet of crap. And then there's the sim to end tier. Oklahoma State and West Virginia just want to get to the part where they see who's leaving and then they can start their recruiting in dynasty mode. Because these seasons are lost causes. So those are my Big 12 tiers. Spencer, let's run through yours.
All right.
They are on screen.
All right. Yep. That'll help me. College football playoff contenders. You got 2 of them right now, and one's hanging on by a thread. The other legit contender, undefeated. Don't understand the hate that Brendan has and everybody else has.
Me? I just said I love watching them. What?
You said you.
I said I love watching them and I love their head coach.
Yes. BYU, I think, is the front-running contender if they can continue the way their season's gone. They haven't lost the ball game despite people not trusting them. I don't understand that. They're the only undefeated team overall left in the Big 12, I believe.
Okay. Yep.
And then I got Texas Tech if they can. It appears game day is going to be there next week for this game, which would be huge, barring Texas Tech losing in Manhattan this weekend. So those are my 2 college football playoff contenders, and they'll go face-to-face next week.
I also, real quick interjection here, I think those are the only 2 teams, unless there is a surprise. Those are the only 2 teams I think have a shot in an at-large.
I agree.
Yeah.
Agree.
Chasing Arlington, I've got Arizona State and Utah. They're both pretty much up there. Like if something happened, they could make their way to Arlington. And then I've got a just good tier. They're just good. They don't really wow me, or they just don't have the schedule that wowed me, because a team on here appears to be good, but they've kind of run through the schedule because they don't schedule that well. Iowa State, obviously just good, but the Houston team there, they could be maybe chasing Arlington, but they're just not. They still have a good schedule. And then TCU, and then bowl eligibility. Hopefully you can get there. Hopefully you can be just where you need to get to bowl eligibility. That'd be KU, Baylor, and maybe Colorado. They're trying. They're hopeful, but they're on the bitter end. And then the next one, I took a page out of my last year playbook and where KU was at last year. We need a case study for what happened in Manhattan. I wanted to be a fly on the wall and understand what happened, where this team had such high expectations and they just fell off the wall after your week 0 game. So that's where I have them. And then disgustingly bad. Any Cam Fancher-led team is going to be disgustingly bad to me. Oklahoma State, the only good thing going on there is the student section shows up and they go tarps off. when nobody else is in the stadium. And then hopefully next year, Rich Rod has high expectations for that West Virginia team. Hopefully next year he can figure out who are his guys and how he wants to shape the team after coming in, this being ground zero year for him, and then Arizona as well.
Well, there you have it. Those are our Big 12 tiers. We'll get Tim Fitzgerald's thoughts about that case study you want to do, Spencer, for what happened with Kansas State. We'll talk to him in a little bit. We got What Is Wrong With You? Got to crown a weekly champ. It's next on 580 Sports Talk. We urgently need to crown a champion. That's the fastest commercial break in show history. We got to crown a What Is Wrong With You champion for this week because we've got the semifinals for October tomorrow and the finals on Friday. So 2 new stories competing on What Is Wrong With You. Trying to take down our champ from yesterday, law-breaking and love-making. 2 suspects who broke into a popular restaurant in Old Town Scottsdale, Arizona, stole $450, some booze, a phone, and then had sex on the patio.
That's like an average night in Scottsdale.
No, it really, really is.
Y'all ever been? Because, woo!
All right, Spencer, make yours quick.
All right, I'll save you the hookup conversation here, but basically a New Jersey woman has pleaded guilty to a 4 a.m. torching of a man's home after he fell asleep inside and stood her up on a booty call.
Ooh.
So essentially, it was 4 a.m. She came over, dude fell asleep.
She burned his house down.
He wasn't ready. She was banging on the door. Come on. And there's a text exchange going back and forth that she was mad at him.
You smoked. I see you want to die. And
yeah.
I swear to God, I hope you die.
Yes.
And then she had to go to a gas station to buy the supplies to burn this guy's house down.
She returned to his home and set fire outside the rear apartment's sole entrance and exit. And yes.
Holy cow.
So wait a second. This happened in 2019?
And is just now being settled.
Yeah.
The criminal case against Russell has, for unknown reasons, dragged on for more than 6 years. There's a decent chance we've done this one before.
He was indicted on 5 other charges, including attempted murder, aggravated assault. As part of the deal, prosecutors will move to dismiss those counts when she is sentenced on January 9th, because she is going to get an 8-year prison term, most likely.
Wowzers. Anyway, your story today, Brandon.
We're going to Silver Springs, Florida, where a 54-year-old woman, she said she was going to refuse to pay for her meal at a diner and told the manager that her spouse would pick up the bill. She claimed her spouse, by the way, was Eminem.
Oh.
On Monday, October...
Is it Kim?
Yeah, I think we know who his ex-wife is, folks. On Monday, October 20th, a county sheriff's office corporal responded to Daryl's Doggone Good Diner on Silver Springs Boulevard in the town of the same name in reference to a female customer refusing to pay her bill. Upon arriving, a manager told the corporal the customer, Jennifer Kleber, had ordered a meal, finished, and then refused to pay. And the manager said, well, she's done it before. In the report, the corporal noted that Kleber was sitting at a table in front of a plate and receipt. Kleber told the corporal her spouse, Marshall Mathers, a.k.a. Eminem, would be paying the bill. Kleber further told the corporal she only had $10 in her pocket. She was detained and escorted to a vehicle. The diner provided a copy of the receipt, which showed she'd ordered a soda, 2 entrees, and chocolate milk, totaling nearly $28. After being read her Miranda rights, she claimed that Eminem had previously picked up her tab at the diner and said that she expected him to do the same this time because he, quote, has unlimited money. The diner's manager confirmed that did not happen. She just dined and dashed last time. She was placed under arrest, booked into the county jail. The report stated she did not have a wallet, purse, or any other method of payment other than the $10. This is my favorite charge we have ever had. She is being held in custody on charges of defrauding an innkeeper.
Defrauding an innkeeper? What kind of 1800s ass crime is that?
On to Bethlehem, Florida.
Defrauding an innkeeper. It looks like that's a crime in Florida since July 1st of last year.
Ooh, tough break.
Wyoming legislature has developed drafts indicating defrauding an innkeeper should be a felony.
Whoa.
And in Colorado, the law includes a landlord is qualifies as an innkeeper.
I don't know about that.
And neither do I.
I love this story, to be honest with you. My husband Eminem will be taking care of this.
Cool.
I think that wins the day.
This one's on Slim Shady.
Honestly, I'm picking this one to win the week.
Yeah.
I'm taking
I
this
think
to
it
win
could.
today and to advance on.
I disagree. I'm still going with law breaking and love making.
Yeah,
Spencer.
You know what?
Ball's in your court.
I'm an M&M guy, so I gotta.
My husband, Marshall Mathers.
I once tried to do karaoke to Lose Yourself while had a few adult sodas in my. Yep.
So, all right, this one's on Slim Shady. That one moves on to tomorrow's October semifinal round for What Is Wrong With You. We will step aside for a timeout. When we come back, Tim Fitzgerald of GoPowerCat.com joins us for the Wildcat Wrap-Up. We are joined on the Fling Place Wine and Spirits Hotline by Tim Fitzgerald of GoPowerCat.com, part of the 24/7 Sports Network. He joins us every Wednesday at this time for the Wildcat Wrap-Up. We talk all things K-State with Fitz, who, along with his great staff, covers the Cats at GoPowerCat.com. Become a VIP subscriber at 24/7 Sports to get access to all of the insider K-State info. Fitz, the streak is 17. It's almost old enough to vote. What stood out most to you about K-State's 42-17 win over KU on Saturday?
Well, the unexpected dominance throughout the game, particularly in light with the early fumble and touchdown for Kansas. If you told me outside of that initial touchdown, they'd only score one more touchdown, I'd say you're crazy. And if you told me that Kansas would have no explosive scoring plays in the game, I'd say you're not watching K-State play. And, also that K-State struggled to run the ball against Kansas and won the way they did. I just wouldn't have believed any of it. This game went a totally different direction than what most of us thought, just in terms of how it was played, not necessarily the result.
The defense for Kansas State, obviously that's a group that is improved by leaps and bounds in this second third of the season, if you will, from games 1 to 4 to games 5 through 8. The improvement has been noticeable. The improvement in the last couple of weeks coming without the player who'd been the team's best pass rusher in Toby Osensomni makes it even more noteworthy. What to you has been the biggest reason, the biggest catalyst for this defensive turnaround for Kansas State?
I think they're kind of settling in to, what they're doing. And also, it looks like the coaches have given them some new zone coverages that put them in better positions that they, seem to be more comfortable with. And it's confusing quarterbacks a little bit more. But yeah, I think they've just gotten used to it. Now, they still have an issue. I mean, the structural issue of that defensive end playing defensive tackle, it needs to be addressed in the offseason in a big way. But for now, I mean, they're kind of getting by. The problem is Tech has got an incredible offensive line and a very good running game and a running back that can take over a game, as we've seen. So the challenge this week is enormous in trying to stop them from running the ball, let alone everything else that they can do from the quarterback position.
Our guest is Tim Fitzgerald of GoPowerCat.com, joining us on the Flooding Place Wine and Spirits Hotline for the Wildcat Wrap-Up here on the program. K-State was efficient offensively in that win over Kansas, and big plays, explosive plays, a one-play, 78-yard touchdown drive will certainly lend itself to that sort of effectiveness. I think excluding the late garbage time drives, they had 42 points of offense on 48 plays. Short fields also helping out off of the turnovers. What have you seen offensively that has been the biggest leap forward over these last 4 games? Again, relative to the first 4 where it just seemed like nothing at all was working.
Avery Johnson's in charge. He's kind of taken over this offense in a way that isn't necessarily reflected in stats. He's just a lot more definitive in his decision-making. He's used the run enough to be effective to keep defenses honest. He's really improved his ability to throw the ball downfield. And that's probably the biggest actual physical thing that he's done that has evolved his game. His ability to throw it 30 yards and beyond the line of scrimmage is proven to be really effective. He's got a really nice touch going down the middle. He can zip it if he needs to. And he and Jace Brown has shown in the game have just a beautiful understanding of how the two play together. Because Jace ran and Avery threw it knowing where he would be at a certain time and laid it right in his arms. So Avery's just gotten better at managing this offense and I think moving the team around into what they need to be doing.
We saw Lincoln Cure get a bit more involved. He had the first reception of the game in the passing game for K-State. Finished with 2 catches, which, again, that's not anything that you're going to write home about. But at the same time, it's more catches than he had all season going into Saturday. Is that a preview of coming attractions? So do you think that the 5-star freshman is starting to settle in and get more reps to the point where now they have a good feel for how they can use him?
Yeah, when you look at a team like Texas Tech, you kind of wonder what kind of advantage do we have over them? And that list isn't long. It's pretty short. But having the ability to deploy 2 6'5" receivers who can go attack the ball is a bad matchup for any defense. And I wouldn't be surprised if Lincoln's a big part of what they're attempting to do in this game because they're going to have to throw the ball with some success to open up the run. It's going to be the opposite of what you normally want to do. This Tech team could just eliminate your run, and we know K-State struggled with that. So they're going to have to prove they can be effective throwing the ball to make them account for that. And maybe Lincoln Cure comes into that. I think Lincoln's going to have a big game before the season's over. It's just taking him a while to acclimate to everything he needs to learn about major college football without being in a spring football practice. And I think he's finally getting there, and we're going to see a breakthrough at some point.
I think people forget that, Fitz. He didn't go through spring practice in the way a lot of those guys who come in and they're impact freshmen had the benefit of spring practice. Lincoln Cure stayed back, finished school with his classmates at Goodland, did track, didn't have the benefit of that spring practice. So relative to some of the impact freshmen you may have seen over the years, he missed an opportunity to develop a little bit. That is contributing, I think, in some way to why it's been not a smash hit right out of the gate, an instant success for him.
Yeah, he's got a lot to learn. Look, he didn't have to block much as a tight end out of Goodland, and he was just bigger than everyone because he could just kind of get in the way. And he's learning to block as a tight end. So in the interim, they've been using him as a receiver, which he didn't play at Goodland either. He's having to learn that spot and learn the offense from all of those things, which is going to be good because he's not going to be a normal tight end. He will flex out and be a receiver. So maybe learning that this season when they have 4 other tight ends is a good thing. But he's only scratching the surface of how he'll be used in this offense in the future.
Tim Fitzgerald joining us here on 580 Sports Talk for the Wildcat Wrap-Up on the program. Texas Tech, the opponent on Saturday. It's Harley Day. It's a 2:30 kickoff. It's the 13th ranked team in the country come calling. And you made some reference to this earlier, but to me, this game comes down to the trenches. Texas Tech spent a lot of money on their offensive and defensive line, and those guys look the part. David Bailey might be the best edge rusher in the country. Their offensive line is dramatically improved. They're really, really good up front, and that has been at times a trouble spot for Kansas State, both offensively and defensively this season. What is the path for Kansas State to win this game on Saturday? Does it start with just holding their own in the trenches? What do you see as the path for Kansas State to pull the upset?
Well, you're going to lose the trenches. If you do win the trenches, I've got questions about the earlier part of the season because this is elite line play. This is where their strength is. You can talk about having to play their backup quarterback, and now they got their starter back, and Dickey, the running back, is really good, and this receiver's like, I get all that, but it's all about up front, and you're going to have to find a way to win the game while not winning the battle up front. So that means it can't be a dramatic loss. You can't have Avery just running for his life the entire game, but you need to have him make some plays out of bad situations. You need to create some opportunity because they're bringing the rush and maybe covering man. Tech's been hurt by the quarterback run game. So this might be a game where Avery absolutely has to tuck and run and get the ball upfield and just make them account for him more. So the pathway to victory is narrow, but it's there. You're just going to have to be very finite, very exact in everything you do. You can't turn the ball over. You can't start the game with a fumble on the kickoff. You can't make dramatic mistakes, and you need to get the ball taken away. The bad news is Tech's pretty good about protecting the ball and taking the ball away. They're the best run defense in the conference and one of the best run offenses. You can just look at it, and they're just good in any stat that involves offensive or defensive line play.
What would you put K-State's odds at reaching a bowl? They got to go 2-2 to make a bowl in their Final Four. What would you put their percent chance that they do get to 6 wins in bowl eligibility based on their schedule?
Probably about 70-80%. I mean, how I'm getting to that is, okay, there's might be a slight window that Oklahoma State wins, but, virtually zero. And then you've got Colorado coming in, and Colorado seems to be, at least from last time we checked, falling apart. If you got a 70-80% chance of winning that, I guess it makes sense. So they only need to get 2 more. Now, are they capable of pulling off the biggest of the upsets, which would be Tech, and then going to Utah and competing? That's the big question. We'll find out Saturday. I mean, either they're going to win or lose, and if they win, a lot's still on the table. If they lose, they're just playing for bowl placement at that point, but you want to get to a bowl to get those practices.
Tim Fitzgerald joining us on the Flaming Place Wine and Spirits hotline for the Wildcat Wrap-Up here on 580 Sports Talk. Let's pivot to the hardwood. We saw K-State's basketball team in action Friday night in Columbia, Missouri, a 191 exhibition loss to the Missouri Tigers. Jerome Tang flat said in his post-game press conference they weren't playing that game necessarily to win it. I'm fine with that. What's your take on that particular approach to an exhibition game?
Well, yeah, I am too. I mean, exhibition games are played so you can find out things about your team. Maybe you want to find out if they can compete and win, but there's a lot of other things you need to find out. Just rotations, who in the heat of a game is going to defend and not defend. I'll say this. I watched the game. I thought Missouri is really good. Maybe it was K-State's defense making life easy on them, but I think Missouri's a really sound team. And K-State with so many new pieces. It's going to take them a little while to get it together, but I think this is going to be a pretty competitive K-State team. I think in a conference, the Big 12, that probably goes, 10 deep in how serious some of these teams are, I would say K-State is among those 10.
It feels as though this is the first of Jerome Tang's teams. Maybe his first team felt this way after a pretty short while once we saw how good Keontae Johnson was. But this feels like the first time in 3 years at least that I haven't wondered where offense is going to come from Kansas State. I feel like they're going to score the basketball. Defense is going to be a trick, especially as some of those European players who've come over and maybe don't value every possession the way that you have to in the Big 12. But does it feel pretty good that this team can at least go out and get some buckets and figure out the rest from there?
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm all in on defense, but you can't win games without scoring. And that's kind of what they've been up against. They would have to play such incredible defense to keep the numbers down that it wasn't possible. But yeah, I think this team's going to score easily. But again, looking at that Missouri game, what little we could learn from it, they got a ways to go on defense. They're going to have to do a lot more. And, so much of good defense is cohesive team play on defense. And when you got 10 new guys or whatever it is, that's going to take a little bit too.
We know PJ Haggerty's good. Was there anybody else in that exhibition game against Missouri where you saw them and said, oh, there's a little bit more here than maybe I realized?
Yeah, just some guys. None that just popped to my mind, but, you just saw little flashes like, okay, we can work with that. And let's be honest, we haven't seen many little flashes over the last 2 years. We haven't seen guys do stuff that you go, ooh, that's a little bit different. And these guys can, whether it's outside shooting, rebounding, defending. I think Moby's an incredible athlete, maybe not the best athlete in the world, or what was the university said, or just college basketball. I'm not sure. But they've got a lot of answers. They do have a lot of answers. And if this team should never have a scoring drought. They've got so many people they can dial up who have proven that they can score at whatever level they've been playing. And if that translates to the Big 12, they're going to be casual scorers.
After 2 years of watching what I sometimes derisively referred to as a clogged toilet offense with Kansas State, it'll be nice to watch guys who can go and get a bucket. But Jerome Tang makes me laugh sometimes at post-game press conferences. They asked him, what didn't you like? He said, well, we fouled too much and our transition defense sucks. Like right off rip. And I appreciated the honesty in what he saw from game one.
Yep. So if we say K-State got its crap flowing, that means good offense?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay,
we're getting praise for him.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Tim Fitzgerald joins us every Wednesday here on 580 Sports Talk for the Wildcat Wrap-Up. Reed Fitz and the crew at GoPowerCat.com. Become a VIP subscriber at 24/7 Sports to get all of the scoop. Fitz, always a pleasure. We'll talk to you again next week.
Thank you, my friend.
That is Tim Fitzgerald. We'll take a timeout, come back, and wrap up this hour with some One Gotta Go on 580 Sports Talk. One gotta go time on 580 Sports Talk. Halloween is Friday, so we're going with the cliche. One gotta go kinds of chocolate, dark chocolate, milk chocolate, and white chocolate. One's gotta go, Spence.
I guess white chocolate.
Wow.
I love milk chocolate. That's my favorite kind of chocolate.
Yeah.
And dark chocolate's okay. I'm just not a white chocolate guy.
Okay. I see. For me, it's dark chocolate's out of here. I like the sweetness of milk chocolate. I like the flavor of white chocolate. Dark chocolate for me, too bitter. Well, I catch the bitterness of dark chocolate a little bit. Maybe that's just maybe my palate screwed up. But dark chocolate for me is gone. I'll take all the milk chocolate and white chocolate you got, but you can keep the dark. You got a one got to go today?
Yeah. Candy.
Okay.
This is kind of a weird one. So it's like chocolate candy.
Okay, your chocolate candies.
Your gummy candies.
Gummy candies. That's
because apparently gummies are on the rise
this
year.
Yeah, chocolate's getting a little more expensive, as it turns out.
And candy corn.
Oh, get candy corn out of my face.
Okay, good.
Get candy corn. Yeet candy corn into the sun. We used to have this debate. Jake was a big candy corn guy. Grossed Brendan and I out. You know those little waxy pumpkins? You ever see those little joints? Those are disgusting. Those are an affront to God.
Yeah.
Jake would eat them by the handful.
Ugh. That's disgusting.
So upsetting. Every Halloween we would have this debate, and Jake would say, candy corn's good. Little wax pumpkins. These are great. No, absolutely not.
I've got another one.
Okay.
Snickers, Twix, or Three Musketeers?
Three Musketeers gone.
Gone?
Yeah, Three Musketeers.
Oh.
Out of here.
I'd go Twix because I had a problem when I was a kid with them.
You had a bad Twix experience?
I had a bad 3 Twix. They were bad.
3 bad Twix. That's the name of my
I haven't had Twix
the name of my
since.
punk rock band. My 3-chord punk rock band. 3 bad Twix. Anyway, we got in the 5 o'clock hour left here on 580 Sports Talk. We got headlines. We're going to hear from Patrick Mahomes. We're going to talk about Mike Pinnell coming back to the Chiefs. That's all coming up on the final hour of 580 Sports Talk. Let's get it. Third and final hour of 580 Sports Talk on this Wednesday afternoon. Dan Lucero, Spencer Dupuis with you. Thanks for hanging out on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW, FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and in living color on our YouTube stream, 580 Sports Talk, the name of the channel. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. You can also check us out on Facebook as well, WIBW News. Again, however, wherever, whenever you are listening to the program today, catching it live, catching it on a podcast version, watching the video a couple hours after we've gone off the air, however you're doing it, we just appreciate you doing it. Thanks for making us a part of your media diet. You only got 24 hours in the day. You know, there's a lot of cool stuff out there, a lot of really smart stuff, a lot of really entertaining stuff, and I wish I could make the time for it, but realistically, you only got about so much time in the day. So the fact that you out there take up some of your day and spend it with us here on 580 Sports Talk means the world. We really appreciate it. So thank you very much for being a part of the show today. We want to hear from you. Hop in the live chats on the YouTube stream, 580 Sports Talk, the name of the channel. Go subscribe to the channel today if you're not already subscribed. Hop into the chat, say hello, interact with us, interact with your fellow listeners as we go along in this final hour. It's always great to hear from you and see friendly faces, old and new, in the live chat on YouTube. You can also text the program, 785-272-9429, the old-fashioned way to make your voice heard on the show.
I have
785-272-9429.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
So a lot of people I follow in social media, like, you know, the not influencers, but like, you know, Commander Twitter, Washington Football Twitter, right? Or just social media in general. They made their way to Kansas City for the Monday Night Football game.
Okay.
And it's the city of barbecue.
Yes, it is.
This one guy, he went to 7 barbecue spots in 4 days.
I respect it.
Including canceling his flight so he could hit Joe's right when they opened.
That's entirely reasonable. I don't have a
so the story was
what the problem is.
He went to Joe's and the line was wrapped around the store and it was going to be an hour. So he's like, you know what? I'm going to cancel my flight, move it back, and then do it.
Yeah.
So he ranked all 7 he went to. He ranked Arthur Bryant's as number 7. I have a big problem with that.
So my wife's not a big Arthur Bryant's fan. I like Arthur Bryant's quite a bit. It's not number 1 for me, but I have it higher on my list. And listen, like if we're talking about Kansas City barbecue and ranking it, it means we're like ranking the members of the dream team by how good they were at basketball. Like, it's okay to be number 11 on that list. Christian Laettner was 2-time National College Basketball Player of the Year. Still objectively a really, really good basketball player. He wasn't Jordan, but he was really good at basketball. So I hate doing the rankings because then it feels like you are snubbing whoever you put last, but somebody's going to be last.
So his ranking was 7 Arthur Bryant, 6 Gates, 5 Jack Stack, 4 LCs.
See, I haven't been to LCs yet. I can't give you an LCs take, but it's next on my list.
3 Q39, 2 Slaps, 1 Joe's.
My wife loves Slaps. I think Slaps would be number 1 for my wife. I would have Joe's 1. Oh my gosh, this has become a barbecue conversation. Why are you doing this to me at 5:10, man? Like, we can't even go get dinner for another 50 minutes. And you got me talking about barbecue, me drooling on the table by the time we're done with this. But yeah, like without thinking too hard, really thinking too hard about it, I would probably have the same top 3 of Joe's, Slaps, and Q39. I think that would be my top 3. I'd go Bryant's. I put Bryant's ahead of Gates. I haven't had LCs yet. I go Bryant's, Gates, Jack Stack, bottom 3, and then my top 3 would be Joe's, Slaps, and Q39 in some order.
Yeah, I think 7's a little disrespectful. Maybe in the 4 or 5 range would be better.
Well, how many of those have you had? How many of those have you been to?
So Arthur Bryant's was the first one, Q39 and Slaps.
Okay.
So I haven't had Joe's, haven't had LC's.
When did you go to Slaps?
I can't remember.
Was that on my recommendation that you go to Slaps?
Probably.
Okay, yeah, because I'm a big that's the one on the KCK side.
Yeah, there's been like 4 or 5 occasions where we've gone to events and I'm like, oh, get hit.
Yeah,
you got to hit the barbecue. But I would put Slaps, Q39, and then of the three I've went to, it would actually go Slaps, Arthur Bryant's, Q39. Because Q39 is like a restaurant.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
so is Jack Stack.
I mean, yes, but I haven't been to Jack Stack. I'm saying like it's more upscale compared to Arthur Bryant.
No,
like,
that's
I'm
true.
here to eat my barbecue. I'm not here to eat it in a great setting.
I respect
because
that.
when you think of barbecue, I think of roadside pit barbecue or something like that.
The OG Arthur Bryant's is a number one for that and the gas station Joe's, the OG Joe's. Like for atmosphere, you're not beating that. Like that adds to the flavor.
I just don't think of upscale nice restaurant when I think of barbecue.
Good takes from the YouTube chat. Mark B says, you have a barbecue joint in Kansas City, you don't suck or you don't last long. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Like, if we're talking about them, and we don't even need to use their full names, and everybody knows what we mean when we say Joe's or AB's or Bryant's, like everybody knows what we mean. That staying power means it's really good stuff. Paul in the YouTube comment says, Kansas City barbecue, a lot like the 2025 Chiefs wide receiver group. If the bottom of the list is what it is, you're in pretty fantastic shape.
Yeah.
That is a fact. Also have a recommendation in from the 785 for one I haven't heard of, RJ's Barbecue Shack in Mission. I'll have to put that on the list. I'm always looking to try new places, but it gets difficult when you have a 16-month-old at home. Going out to eat is not something we do as much as we used to these days. Someday I will get to share the joys of Kansas City barbecue with Asher, and I'm looking very much forward to those days. But those days are still a ways out.
I'm going to a concert on the 8th, and I've been now to Johnny's way too often, so not hitting Johnny's. I think I'm going to try to hit barbecue.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it. Again, text line 785-272-9429. Texter says, my hat game is on point today, which is very nice of you to say.
What about my hat game?
Well, yours is a little harder to see. Let's put you in the big camera. You've got a KU hat on. So some people are going to like it and some people aren't.
My new hat.
Yeah, it's a new one for you. I bought this Tampa Bay Rays hat, the purple throwback Devil Rays hat. Bought this one when I went to Tropicana Field a couple years back. I do like this hat. Nobody has said anything about my Kennesaw State Owls pullover
Your
here.
TJ Maxx find?
Listen. So my
I
wife,
love it.
My wife and I, we go to TJ Maxx fairly often because they've got really good like toy selection for little ones, right? Like you get your kiddo some cool toys. They've got cool stuff there for the little ones. And so we like to go there. We like to see what kind of, like I bought when I get my son his basketball hoop, his Fisher-Price basketball hoop. We got that at TJ Maxx. They've always got good stuff there for the kiddos. But I always go to the clearance rack and I try to see if they've got any misplaced, is what I will call it, team apparel. It was a running gag to the point where there was a Twitter user back in the golden era of Twitter named Trill Ballins, and he had a alter ego, the TJ Maxx buyer, and he would post things like, "Listen up, you better get me 10,000 pairs of Florida State University branded winter gloves to this TJ Maxx in Austin, Texas, or you're fired." Like the joke being that every now and again you will get misplaced college or pro sports gear sent to a location where you wouldn't expect to see that team. Like, for example, Kennesaw State, which is in Georgia, and there's a whole rack full of these pullovers.
So they've been there, because I told you guys like a month or so ago when I was there, they were there.
So I went. My wife and I were there over the weekend. They had one James Madison University, one with the Duke dog, and they had a bunch of Kennesaw State. I don't understand where the Duke dog comes from, but like Kennesaw State logo is an interlocking K and S. Yeah. I can sort of see
how that happens,
how that might have happened, how that might have gotten to Kansas instead of going to Kennesaw, Georgia. Like, for example, the time I found Weber State Wildcat gear at like a Ross, purple Wildcats. Kansas State, yes. Weber State, maybe by accident.
Yeah.
So I understand how those things happen, but it's funny when they do happen. And this like fleecy pullover was like $8. I'm like, yeah, give me that. Love the Owls. They won last night. They're bowl eligible for the first time ever.
There you go.
Hashtag Hootie Hoo.
Because they're newly FBS, right?
Yeah, they're like a new program. They've only ever had 2 head coaches in their history. They're a fairly new program altogether, and yeah, definitely new to FBS. So
when I worked at an Under Armour outlet, Under Armour was like they all do all these random like pushes for cities. So they'll do like the DC ones, and that's the ones we got. And everything was like 202 because that's the area code. For some weird reason, we got like 10 boxes of San Antonio, whatever San Antonio's area code was.
Huh. Their area code.
Yeah. So the people overnight, like that just do the intake essentially.
Uh-huh. So what's DC's area code?
202.
Okay. Well, San Antonio's 210.
Okay.
So
they do the intake. They don't know anything. They folded all these and put them all up in the back of the store racks. And the manager comes in, and we both got on at the same time that shift. And she was having like a heyday. She was like, "What are we doing here? Why? You should know it's DC. It's 202, not San Antonio, Texas."
That's
so
funny.
Then she like called the corporate distribution people, and they were like, "Yeah, your 10 boxes for DC are also they're in San Antonio."
Now that's funny.
Yeah,
that is funny. By the way, shout out to everybody on the text line and in the YouTube chat giving us barbecue recommendations. I am going to be writing all of those down. I will be taking notes. Thank you for that. Next question from the text line from the 75. Do you have any sports headlines? We do. Thank you so much for asking. Let's pivot to sports
Wait, we really
headlines.
got a text that asked for this?
Yes, we did. They gave us a barbecue rec, and then they said, "Hey, how about some sports headlines?" We got them. Let's start with the participation report for Chiefs and Bills. We have the first participation report of the week ahead of Sunday's clash of AFC Titans. For the Chiefs, 3 players did not practice. Josh Simmons, of course, still away from the team, a DNP, as was Hollywood Brown, dealing with an illness today. So hopefully that's nothing that keeps him out of practice long term. Isaiah Pacheco did not practice with the knee injury that was reported yesterday, is having him considered week to week. And there is some reporting out there, though not official, that he will not play against the Bills. But I'll wait for the injury report to confirm that one way or another. It feels very unlikely. If you start the week not practicing and it isn't illness or non-injury related, the Chiefs generally don't ease you back in and then you play. So I would be very skeptical of Pacheco making it back for Sunday. Trey Smith was back at practice, though. That was good to see. He was a DNP all last week. He was limited today as he works his way back from that back injury, the spasms that flared up in that game against the Raiders. Everybody else was a full participant, including Nick Bolton, who also took a knock on his knee against the Commanders on Monday night. He was a full participant. Kareem Hunt with an ankle injury, full participant. Charles Omenihu on the injury report with an ankle, full participant. Rashard Smith dealing with a toe injury, a full participant. And Juwan Taylor, once again, a full participant dealing with knee and shoulder injuries. Bills had 3 DNPs today. Backup running back Ray Davis was sick and didn't practice. Defensive tackle Daquan Jones dealing with a calf injury, a DNP. Receiver Josh Palmer did not practice with knee and ankle injuries. At rest days, defensive tackle Jordan Phillips and defensive end Joey Bosa. Kicker Matt Prater was limited with a calf injury. Linebacker Shaq Thompson limited with a hamstring injury. I can't believe he's still in the league. And like playing a lot. Like he played a lot of snaps for them, or I think he started for them last week. He's 31 years old. He's had a good career. He was a very good college player at Washington. He's one of those guys. Every year he seems to pop up. He only played six games over the last 2 seasons with Carolina, and now he's popped up again with the Bills. Did you know he played professional baseball?
I did not.
Yeah, Shaq Thompson played professional baseball, and there is an argument that he is the worst professional baseball player who ever lived.
Worse than Tim Tebow?
Yes. Shaq Thompson appeared in 13 games for the Gulf Coast League affiliate of the Boston Red Sox as an 18-year-old in 2012. So he was young for the league, but he appeared in 13 games. He was 0 for 39 with 37 strikeouts. This is a world-class athlete. 18th round draft pick of the Red Sox, and obviously has had a long NFL career after a distinguished college career. 0 for 39 with 37 strikeouts. He did walk 8 times, drove in a run, stole a base, scored 3 times. 0 for 39 with 37 strikeouts. In case you ever thought you would get a hit against a major league pitcher, that's what a world-class athlete like Shaq Thompson did. against the lowest level of minor league baseball as an 18-year-old. Anyway, fun fact about Shaq Thompson. 2 full participants for the Bills on their injury report. Linebacker Terrell Bernard with an ankle injury. Linebacker Matt Milano with a pectoral injury. Buffalo's getting healthier on defense. Bernard and Milano have dealt with some knocks. Milano's back. Maxwell Hairston returned last week. Was the rookie out of Kentucky's first game at cornerback. Larry Ogunjobi is back. Michael Hecht, I think, served a suspension. He's back. So this is a Bills defense that will look different on Sunday than it has for the better part of this season. And frankly, that's a unit that really needed some reinforcements. But that is your first injury report for the week. Let's get to a basketball headline.
Yes, KU basketball had an exhibition game last night, and Darren Peterson did not start. He didn't suit up.
Right.
They believe he had some cramps at the end of Friday's game, and they said, you know what? We liked what we saw out of you. Just stay healthy before the start of the season. So he didn't play at all. And KU won 71-35 over Fort Hays State inside Allen Fieldhouse. Melvin Council Jr. scored 16 points. Trey White added 12. Bryson Tiller had 10. It's our final exhibition game. They host Green Bay, the Green Bay Doug Gottliebs on Monday night.
Yeah, they do. First real game for KU. I'll confess I didn't watch a ton of this, but Bryson Tiller's stock, that's the guy who's probably raised his stock the most for Kansas. Hadn't played a lot of organized basketball games because of injury in the last year, but
and then he came to the school in January and redshirted.
Yeah.
I think that might have been huge for his development.
Oh, I think you're absolutely right, because he looks like he belongs. He looks like he's going to play and play a lot. It was good to see Melvin Council Jr. take some offensive initiative last night. He and Trey White doing the things in terms of what their roles are that you would have expected those two to bring to the table. Again, it's Fort Hays State. You're not going to lose your mind over anything you see, good or bad, because it's not half speed, but you're not seeing the best of what KU has to offer. But I certainly think more positive than negative through the exhibition season as KU prepares to begin the 2025-26 season. Let's get into some NFL transactions. I'll start with the big news of a contract extension for Aiden Hutchinson. The star edge rusher of the Lions gets a 4-year extension, including the highest guaranteed dollar amount for a non-quarterback in NFL history. It's a 4-year, $180 million extension that includes $141 million guaranteed. Per year, he comes in at $1.5 million per year short of Micah Parsons, which I think I'm fine with, honestly. Like, if you were making me choose, I would take Parsons ahead of Hutchinson. So I understand Hutch not making as much as Parsons, maybe a little less. That Parsons still setting the market, but the guarantee again is the most ever given to a non-quarterback in NFL history. So far this season, Hutchinson has recorded 6 sacks, 39 quarterback pressures, a pressure rate of 15.5%, 12 quick pressures. That means pressures inside of 2.5 seconds. And a average time to pressure of 2.98 seconds. That's really good. That's top of the chart stuff. What if I told you George Karlaftis' numbers compare really, really favorably to Aiden Hutchinson? Would you be surprised? Because I think most Chiefs fans would not necessarily be surprised.
I'm not surprised.
Here's how similar they are. Hutchinson's got 6 sacks, Karlaftis 4.5. Pressures, Hutchinson 39, Karlaftis 36. Pressure rate, Hutchinson 15.5% of dropbacks, he's getting pressure. Karlaftis 16.5%, he's getting pressure. So he's getting pressure more often than Hutchinson is. Time to pressure, virtually the same. A hundredth of a second differential actually in Hutchinson's favor, 2.97 seconds. 14 quick pressures for Karlaftis. So 14 pressures within 2.5 seconds compared to 12 for Hutchinson. Karlaftis got $62 million guaranteed. And he's on, I think it's 22. I'm not very, very good at the math all of a sudden. 22.75, $23 million a year.
Yeah.
And Hutchinson's on $45 million a year with $141 million guaranteed. That Karlaftis contract just keeps looking better and better and better. Yeah, absolutely. I truly believe that Karlaftis leveling up this season. And hand up, I didn't know how much higher he had to go. I don't know. I didn't know how much of a level he had to go up, but he has. He has been better so far this year than he's ever been. He's leveling up, and he's still a fairly young player for how many years he's been in the league. That makes this contract potentially one of the great bargains in the sport. That's how great teams stay great and keep winning. You have to strike it rich in the draft, and you have to have some bargains, some guys outperforming even their long-term contracts. And Karlaftis, to this point in his first season on the extension, is doing exactly that.
Well, I think too, you also, real quick, I think it also is George knowing, hey, if I want to keep our championship window open, I need to not push for so much money, because he knows that he's good and he could be getting paid more in another team.
Well, I mean, there was never a thought he was going to get like Parsons.
No, but
money.
like even a little bit more than he got. Like it looks on the Chiefs side looked like a huge bargain.
So it came in right around like Greg Rousseau's deal, and I kind of thought that was appropriate, honestly, given what Karlaftis had done. But yeah, he's outperforming that for sure. Give me the NFL trade news of the day today, Spencer.
Yeah, we have a trade. We just under a week. I think the trade deadline's next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday, yep.
The Jets are sending corner Michael Carter and a 2027 7th round pick to the Eagles in exchange for wide receiver John Mechie and a 2027 6th round pick. So it's essentially a corner wide receiver swap and a 6'7"
Oh no,
pick swap in 2027.
Anybody who's a teacher or a parent of a preteen just shuddered. Anyhow, so the Jets need bodies at wide receiver. They just don't have enough guys, and Mechie wasn't really playing a lot for the Eagles, so it makes sense in that perspective. I love this trade for the Eagles. Michael Carter's good. And what Michael Carter does as a slot corner is it enables the Eagles to move Cooper DeJean and get him into a more appropriate role on the defense with the with Carter coming in to play the slot. So DeJean is going to move to the outside. Carter's going to come in and play the slot, and that bolsters that Eagles secondary quite a bit. Another really good move by Howie Roseman, going and getting a player who helps them, and not really having to give up a whole lot. Not giving up a player who really mattered to them in Mechie to do it. That's a good piece of business. All right, let's do the playoff roundup, shall we, to wrap up this edition of 580 Sports Talk Headlines.
It's time for the 580 Sports Talk Playoff Roundup.
The World Series is tied 2 games apiece. The Blue Jays beat Shohei Ohtani and the Dodgers last night. 6-2 is the final score. Vlad Guerrero Jr., the go-ahead 2-run home run off of Ohtani in the 3rd inning. And then Ohtani was left in a little too long. You can understand both teams wanting to try and preserve their bullpens that were slagged in Game 3. The Dodgers trying to stay off their bullpen at all costs. And Ohtani stayed in 2 batters too long, gave up back-to-back hits to start the 7th. And the bullpen for the Dodgers turned that small fire into a full-blown conflagration, allowing 4 runs in the 7th to put the outcome of the game beyond doubt. Stunningly, Blake Trinan was in the middle of it. It is unbelievable to me. Blake Trinan has been so bad. He has faced 24 batters in the postseason, and 12 of them have reached base. It's not what you want. And it's a continuation of his struggles for the final month of the regular season. Nothing good is happening when he comes into games. It's like there's a button on the back wall of the Dodger dugout that says, give up runs. And it's like, do not push this button under any circumstances. And Dave Roberts keeps pushing the button. He keeps bringing Trinan into these games. He was the only guy out of the bullpen in Game 3 that gave up a run. Nobody else did. And you didn't have all those guys available, but you had some. And you turn it over to him anyway, and then 4-1 becomes 6-1. Like, that's the spot where you absolutely positively have to treat that part of the game like, hey, look, we can't let it get any worse. We're going to get 5 in 3 innings. We might get 3, send it to extras, but we're not going to get 5. We got to keep it at 4. I know. Let's bring in the guy who can't get anybody out. Like, what is Dave Roberts doing? What is his infatuation with Blake Trinan? Why does he think this is going to turn around? It's not. It's obviously not.
Does Blake Trinan have something on Dave Roberts? I'm just kidding. That's a joke.
I don't know, man. It's such bad managing. I've never been excused.
I will say, I think it may be an excuse last night just because you don't want to go on other pitchers.
Flip side, there is no excuse to. I understand. Okay, yeah, you're not pitching Will Klein, right? You're not gonna put Klein in after he threw 1 billion pitches in Game 3. Like, I understand that, but Trinan's been consistently this bad for the last month and change. He's not going to pitch his way out of this. Maybe next March when he's on the second year of a monster 2-year contract.
I forgot he got that.
Yeah, maybe next March he pitches his way out of this. It's not happening in the middle of the World Series. And Dave Roberts keeps acting like it is. It's unbelievable. It might cost him another game in the series before all is said and done. Game 5 is tonight. What is Game 5 with the series tied at 2? It is pivotal. Pivotal Game 5 tonight. Trey Savage, the rookie on the bump for Toronto. Blake Snell goes for the Dodgers. Lineups are already out. Second straight game, no George Springer for the Jays. He got hurt in Game 3. That'll do it for the playoff roundup and for our 580 Sports Talk headlines. We'll come back. We'll hear from Patrick Mahomes. QB1 spoke to the media earlier today at 1 Arrowhead Drive. We'll hear from Mahomes next. It's 5:34 on 580 Sports Talk. Earlier today at 1 Arrowhead Drive, Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes addressed the media talking about Bills week, what to expect, how they're preparing, and what Brittany's got up her sleeve for Halloween. Yeah, that comes up. Here's Patrick Mahomes.
How quickly did you start preparing for Buffalo right after Monday night? And then just what is it about this matchup that's just been putting aside?
Yeah, just Tuesday. You have a little bit longer day on Tuesday where you go back and you have to watch kind of twice the games you would usually do on a when you have Monday and Tuesday. But you have a good familiarity with this team, obviously, with how many times we've played them and the coaches and the defenses that they play. But they do a good job of being game plan specific every single year. And so I think there's just a lot of great football players that we're going up against, and we know it's to take our best football. I think that's the biggest thing I've learned from this rivalry is that it's going to be one play here or there that's going to change the outcome, and you have to go out there and make it. Every time he's in there, it seems like good things happen. Obviously this year's as well, and so we'll see where we get to on that. But at the same time, we have confidence that if his number's called, he'll be ready for it.
With the invaders, second and third reads, is that something you can consciously work on in the offseason during the week? Like, what's the preference?
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely work on it just through reps. I mean, through drills and stuff like that, of just kind of having different things that you use with your coaches of code words and stuff for them to make you have to kind of be on one read and reset to the next one and make the throws and stuff like that. And then during the season as well. And so we try to make sure I'm in the right space so I can be better at it each and every year. And kind of go through your reads and make that stuff happen. It gives you confidence that you're seeing the right stuff. And if you have confidence, then you can kind of go out there and throw it the way you want to throw it. And I think that's huge, and that it all starts up front with the O-line.
Patrick, once you get here, you're going to play whatever's on the schedule, right? What's next? Yeah, the amount of time. But the schedule comes out, you look at it and go, when you guys last year Tuesday, you look at the schedule and go, oh, really, Buffalo on a short week. Like, we couldn't have fit that in. Is there anything that goes through your head when you see that on there?
No, not really. I mean, I think everyone deals with it. I mean, obviously, we're going up against a great football team. But, I mean, you kind of, as part of playing in the NFL, is you have to be able to be ready for sudden changes like that. Or, I mean, that could happen to you in the playoffs. So what another opportunity to be on a short week against a great football team and see how your team responds. And so it's stuff that you can learn from and build from. And so I'm just excited to get to go up again and play in a big game in a great environment.
Because you've been there enough, do you enjoy playing in Buffalo? And what's that environment like compared to other road games that you see consistently on the schedule?
I mean, they don't like us. I mean, that's pretty. They do not like the Chiefs. But I mean, it is a cool environment. I love playing in like historic stadiums. And that stadium has had so many great players play in it. And who knows, it might be the last time that we get the opportunity to play there. It'll be a great challenge for us, and they're loud, and that's what you want. You want to go in and be in a hostile environment. That's what football, when you watch on TV as a kid growing up, is the environments you want to play in. And so obviously they're not rooting for us, but you get to bond together as a team and get to go into a historic stadium and play in a great environment.
The rivalry's been unique, and it seems like they always get the regular season, and you guys get the better of them in the playoffs. I mean, what do you make of that uniqueness, I suppose?
I don't know, honestly. I mean, all the games come down to like one. I think other than like two games that we've played against each other, every single game comes down to like one play here or there that someone has to make, if that's offense, defense, whatever it is. And so I think it just comes down to players making plays in big moments, and that's kind of worked out for us in the playoffs, and worked out for them in other times. To me, it's just about the next time. It's about going out there and playing against a great football team and knowing that it's not like we can think that's going to happen again. You get to go out there and play with your best ability that next time you get the opportunity to.
Patrick, as a quarterback, when you're watching Josh Allen, is there something he does that you watch and go, man, I wish I could do that like he does, or something impressive?
I mean, to be that size and be able to move like that, I mean, I think he's done so many great things as far as throwing the football and stuff like that, but the way he's able to extend plays and get close to the sideline and make these big time throws on the field, that stuff is special. And so he's gotten better and better each and every year. I think that's something that I've seen in him, and so that's something I try to do for myself as well. And so he's a great football player.
Patrick, what stands out to you about this Bills defense on tape?
Yeah, I think they're extremely talented. They're extremely well coached. They do the right thing. They're always in the right spot. It's not like they have any busted coverages or anything like that. And then they have a good sense of what you're trying to do. So if that's even the linebackers moving to the right zones at the right time, or DBs kind of the same, or D linemen even getting the hands up and being in the right spot that you want to throw the football, they do a great job of that. And I mean, they're well coached, and they have a lot of great football players. And so it's always a great challenge for us, and you have to make sure that you're locked in the entire game, or they're gonna capitalize on your mistakes.
When you go into a hostile environment like that, what type of mentality do you have to have on that field?
I think it's cool, honestly, just because like you have to bond together as a team. And I mean, you do that at Arrowhead, and you kind of have the crowd behind you. And whenever stuff isn't going well, you can kind of feed off the crowd and stuff like that. Whereas when you're on the road, you just have your teammates. You have your teammates and your coaches, and you kind of have to bond together. And there's going to be adversity, and it's how you can bond together and come out on the other side of that and come out on the right way with the win.
Was there an easy answer for the idea that you seem to have as good as, if not better, stats in road games than home games?
I think it's just like I said, you go on these trips, and like even more than the football games, just being on the plane and then being in the hotel and stuff like that. You kind of build this culture and this team, and so it's cool whenever you step on that football field, and everybody's against you, and you know you just have your brothers behind you, and it takes everybody. And I think it's just been special that we've been able to do that, play these road games and win these games. It's because this team comes together and we go out there and play our best football, even on the road sometimes.
One of the things that's a thread with your losses in the regular season, the Bills, has been turnovers. You guys have been out of minus in most of those games, and not all turnovers are the same. Sometimes you get guys, sometimes the numbers bounce the wrong way. When you think back to these games, which one of those is more like it? Like they made some nice plays, or you guys made mistakes? How do you characterize those?
No, that's kind of what I'm saying. Like even I mean, turnovers are one thing, but just in general, like if you don't stay locked in the entire game, they capitalize on the mistakes, and if that's even like just a little missed assignment or a missed throw that you need to make to kind of keep ahead of the chain, stuff like that. They get you in 3rd and long, and then they come up with some type of blitz that's unscouted, and they blitz you, and all of a sudden you give them the ball back to them, and that's a great offense. And so they do a great job of just capitalizing on your mistakes, having little wrinkles here and there so that you're never really comfortable at the quarterback position. And so you have to be locked in the entire time, and when it's not there, you have to find ways to get to the check down or wherever that is to stay ahead of the sticks so they can't get you off the football field.
Andy was talking about your trust in the receiver. We were talking about the interception when you're going for Hollywood on the back shoulder. How's that play supposed to go?
Yeah, no, that it was a play that we were trying to go over the top, but the Lattimore had great coverage, and I tried to throw the ball and kind of sneak it the back shoulder to him before he got his eyes around. He got his eyes around and made a great play. And so I have trust in those guys that we're going to make plays happen, and sometimes defenses make plays. That's just kind of part of it, and we learn from that. And so the next opportunity that we have, we're on the same page a little bit better, and we're able to complete the pass and not have an interception or whatever the mistake was.
Patrick, Coach Reid just told us he's really not worried about anything else. He has to cram because it's a short week. Do you feel like you spend more time knowing that it's a short week, going to play Buffalo, trying to get everything in?
Not more than I would spend on a normal short week. I mean, just I think usually like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are like the busiest on the short week because you're trying to make up for that Monday. But then by Friday, you kind of have everything done. And so I think the hardest is for Brittany because she knows I'm going to be in the building a lot. So she had a little bit more time with the kids that she's going to be watching all 3 of them. But other than that, I think it's kind of a normal week after a Monday game.
Brittany and the kids ready for Halloween?
They're very ready for Halloween. We're on the countdown. I didn't know there was a countdown to Halloween. I thought it was only Christmas, but every night it's like, how many more nights do we have until Halloween? And so they're very excited. And so I'm trying to knock everything out so that Friday I'm able to go out there and enjoy that with them and get a lot of candy. And I'm sure try not to give them too much of it.
Is there a family Halloween costume that you guys are going to have?
Yeah, it's a surprise. So y'all will see. I'm sure it'll be on Instagram somewhere.
Patrick, just that point you made about sometimes defenses make plays. How hard is it to just get that in your mind, and does that give you perspective on how much you can let go and just be you?
Yeah, I don't know if it's like from playing in the Big 12 and like the air raid or whatever it is. It's just like you always have that next play mentality of like if something bad happens, you got to score the next play. So you got to keep going and keep that mindset going. And so I've never really had a problem with it. It's just like if they make a play, that they're paid to make plays too. Now I'm just trying to find a way to make up for it by going up there and just executing the next play and then kind of keep that mindset. And so interceptions happen, stuff like that happens. I don't want it to happen, but at the same time, what are you going to do about it after?
Helps keep you from being frustrated with yourself in that instance? I mean, is that
as long as we win, I don't care how it looks. So if I'll be frustrated after the game if the interception caused us to lose the game, but if we find a way to win the football game at the end of the day, I'll be perfectly fine.
That was Patrick Mahomes from earlier today at One Arrowhead Drive. I loved him slipping into beleaguered dad mode there for a little bit. The Halloween discussion. I didn't know there was a Halloween countdown. I thought it was only a Christmas thing. But apparently there's a Halloween countdown in the Mahomes household. So I'm sure when you have legions of small kids, then there is probably a countdown to putting on a costume and going to get candy. So that's what Patrick Mahomes had to say about the upcoming game and where the offense stands, what they face with regards to the Buffalo defense and Halloween. So we covered all the bases.
Do you think their kids go trick or treating?
I don't know why you would deprive them the childhood joy of going door to door. I'm sure
their nanny takes them.
I probably keep it in the neighborhood because if you live by Patrick Mahomes, you're aware that you live by Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So
especially if you've flown above Patrick Mahomes, he has his logo in his backyard.
So you're probably I don't know what the neighborhood situation is there, but I feel like if you live by Patrick Mahomes, you're probably pretty aware of it. You're normal about it by now. It's not like they go to a random neighborhood where it would be a surprise. Wait, you're Patrick Mahomes' kids. Oh my God. No, they're going to trick or treat in friendly territory if they're going out and knocking on doors and doing it in daylight too, probably. Anyway, let's take a timeout. We'll come back. The Chiefs made the most predictable transaction in franchise history today. Mike Pennell is back. We'll talk about why it's such a positive for the Chiefs on 580 Sports Talk. .548 and 580 Sports Talk. Dan and Spencer with you till 6 o'clock. Chris Kleiman Show coming up later tonight, 7 o'clock here on 580 WIBW and FM 104.9. The Chiefs re-signed Mike Pennell today, one day after he was released by the Cincinnati Bengals.
You know who spoke this into existence in his press conference a couple weeks ago?
Chris Jones.
His best friend, Chris Jones.
Chris Jones is so happy to have him back.
Did you see the video? In
yeah.
fact,
I said it was like he was on vacation. You pick up your dog from the shelter,
yeah,
and you're so excited to see your buddy.
They're like play fighting.
Yeah, they're play slapping at each other. Yeah, it was fun. It was cool to see that. So obviously good for morale to have Big Mike back in the fold. It's also going to be good for the Chiefs' run defense, and maybe just in time. As I mentioned earlier, the Bills have one of the best rushing attacks in the NFL. They are second in the league in EPA per running play. That's expected points added per running play, behind only the Colts and Jonathan Taylor, who's in the MVP discussion. So they really run the ball well. Mike Pennell, you have to imagine, replaces Derek Nottie, at least in the defensive tackle rotation. And here's why this is a big deal. Earlier today, ESPN.com put out a trade deadline preview, writing about all 32 teams, what they might do at the deadline. Are they going to sit it out? Are they going to try and add? Are they going to trade some players? Who might be on the move? Who might be an ideal trade target? And they talked about the Chiefs add anything at all. And I think Pennell probably is the stand-in for that. I don't think at this point the Chiefs are going to go, and they could, and then they might still try and get a piece for a conditional day 3 pick. But they had this stat regarding Derek Nottie. Among all qualifying defensive tackles who have played a large enough sample size of snaps to qualify, where do you think Derek Nottie ranks in run-stop win rate? How often he is winning his matchup on running plays?
In the NFL?
In the entire NFL, where do you think he ranks?
45.
I don't know the number exactly of how many defensive tackles are eligible. All I know is among them, Derek Nottie ranks DFL. He is dead last in the league in run
said
stop.
Derek Nottie. I thought you were talking about.
No, you're talking about Pennell? No, yeah. Derek Nottie, dead last. Dead last in the league.
That makes sense.
At run stop win rate. He also has a 0% pass rush win rate. And to be fair to Nottie, that was never really his game. But like,
they take him out on run passing.
Right.
Even Steve Spagnuolo has brought it up in press conferences that he is not a pass rushing guy.
But he is not giving the Chiefs anything. And Pennell,
which is kind of ironic because it appeared didn't they bring him back?
Yes, they brought Nottie back late
and then cut Pennell.
And then they cut Pennell. Yeah, really a strange move, and it didn't age well. And now they've righted that wrong. And I think that is going to help because I think the Chiefs' rushing defense has been better than the numbers say. They're 19th in the league in EPA per run play against, which is, obviously a little below average. But I think they've been better than that broadly. And I think the addition of Pennell, that's going to help them on those first down runs. That's going to help them give up a few less successful first down runs, be able to get teams into 2nd and 7, 2nd and 8 a little bit more often than they've been able to get into 2nd and 6, 2nd and 5, 2nd and 4 with some successful first down runs. So I think it made sense for a lot of reasons, but then I saw that stat from Nottie, and not just from a vibe standpoint. They needed an upgrade, and they needed one in a hurry, and the Bengals just gifted him one. Like, I would have held Pennell hostage. I would have called Brett Veach and said, you want him, I'm going to need a conditional 6.
Well, it's funny because Pennell requested his release, and it was granted. So, he asked to be cut.
Because he knew the Chiefs are going to pick him up.
Which is just, if you look at this timeline, it's just hilarious. It was like Chris Jones was telling us it was going to happen 2 weeks ago. It was just a matter of when.
Yeah, very, very strange. Just the whole thing. From, he's a roster lock to he got cut 2 days after they brought Nottie back when he got cut by the Jets to he was kind of subtweeting or sending some subliminals at the Chiefs front office after he got cut to now being back in Kansas City. And I think the Chiefs will be better for it. And I think his arrival will be just in time. I think he'll help them against the Bills. It's not like you need to teach him the defense or teach him the terminology or teach him what you want him to do in his role. He's going to be able to go in and plug things up, certainly better than what the Chiefs have gotten.
You got to think it's going to happen on Sunday.
Oh, yeah. Right away. We'll take a break, come back with a final word to wrap up this edition of 580 Sports Talk. Final word time on this edition of 580 Sports Talk. Spencer Dupuis, leave us on a good note.
Yeah, it's good to see that Nick Bolton's injury is not serious enough. Just that it's not an injury; he's just banged up, I guess you would say. Because seeing him walk out after the press conference and after the out of the locker room on Monday night, didn't seem too banged up. But good to see he was already a full participant in practice. Because it's always good to keep he may not be the best linebacker in the game, but like consistency wise, keeping him on the field is going to be huge for the Chiefs defense.
Final word for me today, also Chiefs related. I'm happy to see Mike Pennell back. It's an obvious upgrade over Derek Nottie, but it just adds to the positive vibes around this team right now. I really believe that this is the best team in the AFC for a lot of reasons right now. But I think one of the reasons that can't be discounted is the power of friendship. I think the power of friendship appears very strong among this version of the Kansas City Chiefs. The team chemistry is really good. The wide receivers have Mahomes doing the little Chiefs wave after he makes the touchdown pass, that little flip of the hands that all the wide receivers started doing. They got Mahomes doing it now. This feels like a very together team, and those are the most fun kinds of teams to root for. The winning teams that are enjoying playing together and winning together, and that's what these Chiefs are, and bringing back a popular guy like Pennell to the mix only adds to that. We're back tomorrow from 3 until 6. For Brendan and Spencer, I'm Dan. This is 580 Sports Talk. Good night.